You're listening to the Headz Collide podcast by Headz Up Entertainment.
Exquisite made it.
Yo, this is Rage with Headz Up Entertainment. You're listening into the Headz Collide podcast. Today we got on my brother, Dr. Isaac Solano, brother.
It's a pleasure to be here, fellas. When I got the invite a couple weeks ago, I just couldn't believe it, so I'm happy to be here.
How's your week, brother?
My week was pretty good, man. I just graduated, and it's been a long journey, I'll tell you. I've been at the University of Denver for 8 years working on this particular degree. It's been a great week. Happy about that.
What did you graduate with?
I just finished up at the University of Denver with my PhD in Education, Leadership, and Policy. So I'm really happy. It's a degree that allows me to continue to give back to my community, the Northside, Greater Denver, and serve students.
Yep. This is where we're going to play.
We got a doctor here.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when people call you Mister, you're going to be like, no. No, sir.
Doctor.
You know, I'm still getting used to it. Vince Trujillo,
Yeah.
He's been calling me doctor for the past 6 months. And I'm like, hey, it ain't real yet. In June, you can call me that. So he came to my graduation yesterday, and him and a lot of other folks calling me doctor. And I'm still getting used to it. So there won't be any corrections yet.
I think you might be at least the only real buddy. You know what I mean? We've been friends for a few years now.
Oh, for
At least
sure.
for 15 years.
Yep. I think, we met freshman year, bro, when we were in swim class.
Dang.
Bobby, you and me, Luigi, Jesus. It was a crazy
Donovan.
crowd. Yeah.
No, actually, I
Donovan.
got a couple homies with a PhD, the player hater degree.
The player hated degree.
That does exist, man. There are a lot of folks out there with that degree.
Yep. I try to stay away from those guys.
I just want to tell you that we're super happy, bro, as a community and as a friend. You're an inspiration to a lot of folks out here that, you know what I mean? You're opening up doors that you don't even realize. I'm sure you do realize, but you're just it's a personal voyage, I bet. But for others to see this, even myself, damn, bro just got a fucking PhD. And he's from the hood.
You know, I appreciate that, Rage.
That's amazing.
It still hasn't sunk in yet. You know, it's been a long journey, but I'm proud that the work that I do allows me to give back to my community and serve the next generation of students. Because as you know, we were talking about before we went on air, the North Side has changed so much.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that people like us, need to stick around and show the little Chicanos and little Chicanas what they could do if, they keep their nose in them books.
Yeah, we're a dying breed.
Yep.
We're a dying breed. We can't even really feel at home in our own neighborhood anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what is your biggest plan to do with your PhD other than give back to the community, or how would you like to give back to your community with it?
Yeah, so what I currently do now, I'm an administrator for Denver Public Schools. And I kind of laugh about it when I think about it because, when you knew me back in high school, what high school student says they're going to grow up to be a school administrator, right? Who wants to be Miss Jeffers or Mr. Sandos or Miss Workmeister or Mr. Salem? No one grows up and thinks
Workmeister.
No one.
I can't remember that name.
Nancy Workmeister. She was a dean when we were freshmen, then became the assistant principal.
Holy crappers! Yeah, I remember.
But no one. My point is, no one. When you're a kid, you don't want to be those people, right? You. That's who you don't want to be. But when you grow up and you kind of realize, if you're an administrator that's putting students first, you actually have a lot of opportunities to make sure that some of the shit that happened to us when we were kids, the stories you had with, I won't say any names, but the administrators you grew up with at Skinner and North don't happen to the next generation of kids.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure if they could have put hands on me, they would have.
I would have.
But back to your question, Rage, I just want to make sure, as I lead schools and programs in schools, that they're always student-centered.
That's powerful, brother. Especially you're from our neighborhood and you're still in our schools. Where do you spend a lot of your time? I know you say you do a lot of, you're at North?
Yeah, so We have actually two nonprofit organizations at North that are run by alumni. So we have the Northside High School Alumni Association, which I'm wearing our gear right now, and then we have the Northside High School Scholarship
Scoot over a
Foundation.
little bit. My bad. I didn't realize you're out of the camera.
Oh, but yeah, as I was saying, we have two nonprofit organizations at North that serve North students and also try to work with alumni. So we're re-engaged and connected to the community. So I'm the president of the Northside High School Alumni Association. So that's the organization that does all the fun stuff. So we're doing an event at Lakeside next Thursday. So I hope everyone who's a Northsider shows up in their purple and gold. Hell, if you want to wear some red, bring that too. And then, we just do cool shit for the community, raise a lot of money for our current students, and then make sure we preserve the history of both North High School and the North Side. So we have files on...
And Lakeside.
And Lakeside, exactly. So we have files on all kinds of shit if you come into the Alumni Association. Skinner, Lakeside, all the churches around, whether it's St. Dominic's.
Yeah, the parishes were powerful back in the day when
Guadalupe.
it came back to like the Chicano movements. Like, what's the one that's right there in the hood by Chubby's?
Guadalupe.
Yeah,
That's where I was baptized.
Guadalupe.
Yeah, me too, bro.
That one was like a big hub for the Chicano movement.
That's where
back
like
in the day.
everybody in the north side was baptized, I feel like.
That's powerful.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Same water bowl.
Same water bowl.
Dunk us all in.
Little
Soggy like an Oreo.
green chili on the side.
No, I mean like let's say you only went to North for 90 days and got kicked out. You considered an alumni?
Absolutely. If you went to North for one day, you're an alumni. So, don't ever think otherwise.
You went to our
Hey, they tried to erase me from North.
well, we kept you alive, brother. When we did so back in the day, me, Isaac, Tony, and a few other individuals, Miss St. Clair, we did the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, I was there.
So you're like,
Devin was there. He didn't even go to North.
He didn't even go to here. Remember my buddy Devin?
Yeah, I remember him. That tall dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy,
He's a
man.
good dude.
He was in our picture like he went to North.
He's all,
Yeah, that was cool.
was
And he
a
came to
beautiful time.
all the events,
Yeah,
too. Like,
yeah.
he didn't just come to
to the
one.
Elks Lodge.
He came to Elks Lodge, came to the picnic.
He was at JD's.
Yeah, he was at the happy hour.
He
Yeah.
did go to JD's.
Yeah, dude was like, these are cool people.
Yeah, he's an honorary Northsider.
Wasn't
Yeah.
he telling everybody like, yeah, I was in swim class. Like, bro,
You don't remember me?
that's cool, bro. So how did this all come into fruition? Like, you said, yeah, would you imagine me doing this? And I was just a student there. How the hell did this happen?
That's a great question. So I graduated from North just like we all should have or did, because other people have different paths, but 14 years ago in 2009. And at that point, I was very fortunate to earn a scholarship called the Bill and Melinda Gates Scholarship. So, Bill Gates and his wife, Melinda, or ex-wife at this point, gave a lot of money to students all over the country. And because of that scholarship, I had 10 years of funding for post-secondary education. So all of my bachelor's degree, all of my master's, and then half of my PhD, because it took me a long, long damn time to finish my PhD. So when I graduated from North with that funding, I could go anywhere I wanted that I was accepted to. So I ended up at the University of Wisconsin at Madison. And if you could picture the most white town on the face of the planet, that's Madison, Wisconsin.
Was it fun though?
It was very fun.
Yeah.
But being like the one Chicano around, and there were a few others, right? But they're hard to find. I want to emphasize that.
Were you looking?
I was looking.
I need to find some for me.
You gotta look for the dudes holding like the leaf blowers and
fucked up.
You gotta find the working class
you
folks.
gotta find the working class. That's where you'll find us.
Exactly. But I ended up at Madison, and that's actually where I learned so much about the Chicano movement, bro. Can you believe Escuela Tlatelolco is right across the street from North? Corky Gonzalez, right in the neighborhood. He only passed away about 6 or 7 years ago. We went to school with his grandson. He was a senior when we were freshmen. And no one taught us about that. Like, no one taught us about the Chicano movement and what it means to be a Chicano right at the epicenter where all that shit
On
happened.
purpose.
I was lucky enough to
On
go to
purpose.
Escuela where they did teach us all that. So I was lucky enough to know, like, meet Corky and all that and know, like, his teachings. Like, that was some of the last generations to know that because that school is not even a school no more.
That's incredible. That's a blessing in disguise, because I know you have real certain feelings about not being at North.
Yeah.
But that education, I would have loved to
Oh,
have that.
I was glad that I got to go there because I did learn my history.
Yeah.
Like I learned shit about myself that I would have never learned at North.
Yeah.
And I didn't even finish school at Escuela, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even finish 10th grade, but I felt like I learned more there like than anywhere else in my whole life.
It was more relevant, and it's like
They taught us things. Yeah, they taught us the more important things. They weren't teaching us like things that we weren't going to use later in life. Like they taught us our history and shit like that. I appreciate that school.
Yeah, that sounds like a critical thinking curriculum that a lot of public schools really lack. And I know Escuela was a public charter, but they had some more flexibility in how they could do things.
Yeah, the younger classes were Montessori, so I believe there were tuition. Okay. But I think at 6th grade it was like public, like you didn't have to pay to go there. But 6th grade and below, I believe there was like a tuition. But I mean, some people liked their experience at that school. Some people didn't. Some people had bad experiences.
Yeah, with everything.
With everything, yeah. But I mean, I still hold what I learned at that school like to this day.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah, and the principal, she's a daughter of, or
Nita.
what? Yeah, Nita. She's a daughter of Corky. So that's pretty cool.
And Rudy, the son worked there too when I started going there. He was like the principal.
Wow.
He was cool. So I still got him on Facebook.
Yeah. Shout out Rudy.
He's still out here active doing stuff, you know.
That's awesome.
So did we already get into like how you did come into it?
Sorry for being long-winded.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so I finished up at Wisconsin, and then I was like, well, I have a lot more funding, so I'm going to continue to get educated. So I applied to all kinds of schools all over for my master's degree, and I thought it was time to come home, honestly. I was like, you know what? I need to get back to Denver. So half of the schools I applied to were in the metro area. Regis, University of Colorado, Denver, right on the area campus, and the University of Denver. Got into all those schools locally, but then a trusted classmate, a buddy of mine, and then a professor at Wisconsin, one of the coolest Chicana ladies I've ever met, Dr. Teresa Arenas. So cool. She was like, you have all this funding. You need to start thinking about like Ivy League schools, bro. And I'm like, I don't think I could get into the Ivy League. She's like, you're my student. I see your work.
Yeah.
You need to start doing that. So I was like, all right, I'll apply to a few. So I applied to Harvard, the University of Pennsylvania, and then Columbia University.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly, Harvard rejected me. And so I was like, oh, well, guess I'm not going to go to Harvard.
Did they explain why they rejected you?
When you're trying to get into graduate school, you're going against the best of the best from the whole world. So people from China, Saudi Arabia, every state in the United States. So, I just didn't make the cut with that class at Harvard.
They let Method Man and Red Man in.
They did.
That's interesting. And then, and what was the other one? Harvard and where?
University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
About a week or two after that, they rejected me as well. Same situation, going against the best in the world. I wasn't good enough for that class. And then Columbia sends me an email. At this point, I'm like, I didn't get into Columbia. Yeah, this is just third rejection in a row from the Ivy League. And so I was in the library at Wisconsin on my computer, and libraries are real quiet. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So then I'm like, what the fuck? And I probably, security was looking around the corner like, what's going on with this dude? Because I got in and I was like, oh my God. I kind of had like a outburst of like excitement, right?
Oh yeah, to say the least.
Exactly, to say the least. Because Columbia,
they were like, Pennsylvania and Harvard took all our guys. So we got
to get that Chicano dude in there.
We got to get him in here.
But Columbia, the most exciting thing about it, in addition to being an Ivy League, it's right in Manhattan, in New York City.
Yeah.
So
that's what. Okay, that makes sense.
So to be able to spend 2 years there and learning from literally some of the best thinkers in the world when it comes to education policy, I was just very blessed, very fortunate and very blessed. And then immediately after I finished up at Columbia, it was really time to come home. So I applied to PhD programs all around Colorado and in Colorado. I graduated from Columbia.
What year?
In May of 2015. And in June of 2015, I was in class at the University of Denver. And I've been there for 8 years until yesterday.
Damn, brother.
Congratulations.
That's fucking huge.
Thank you. I
Love
appreciate that, fellas.
How long were you in school then?
Post-secondary, 14 years. 4 years at Wisconsin, 2 years at Columbia, 8 years at the University of Denver. It's been a long time.
Beautiful.
Almost as much as time I was in school in pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. Because I started ECE in 1994, finished in 2009, high school. That was 15 years. It's almost the same exact time.
Damn.
You know,
So 29 years I've been a student.
that's beautiful.
Damn, I've just been
Forever,
wasting a lot of time.
I'm a student of the game.
Yeah, I'm a
I've been
student
a
of the
student of the
streets.
game for
I would say
32 years.
I graduated from the streets yesterday, too.
Well, I would say we're all students in our own realm.
Yes,
And
yes, sir.
I feel really privileged just to chat with you guys about what you all know because, you know, you don't have to have a formal education to be
Yeah.
educated. And I fully believe that.
For surely.
No.
Yeah,
It helps.
it does
It
help.
sure helps.
Yeah, it does majorly help, but not in a creative world.
It
You
would
can still
would
be a
help you a
creative-
lot, Mr.
You could
Likeness.
be you could be an author or an artist.
He be
You
using
don't
he be
necessarily
trying to
have
use
have-
big words in like the super wrong spot.
He can. I was like, in all of our likelihood, and he was like, "That's not how you use that word." And I was like, "Oh shit, it's likeness."
It's like
I
likelihoods.
was
that
like,
was
"You
the
know what the fuck I mean?"
Well, that's an easy fix. We just got to get you a thesaurus, study that a little bit.
I'm pretty good with my words, but I messed
pretty
up
good with
it.
his likeness.
I'm pretty good. But yeah, no, that's powerful, brother, and I'm like dumbfounded.
Well,
For real, bro. Like we always knew you were going to be successful. Even at North, you were very, you fit in with everybody. You know what I mean? You didn't seem like you were the super smart kid that don't want to talk to anybody. But we knew everybody was that bro's going to be successful when he.
There's a lot of smart people in our neighborhood that never really got a chance to show they were smart. You know what I mean? Like,
Systemic oppression.
and then not only that, but when you're in school, it's kind of like from your peers, it's kind of encouraged for you to be a dumbass. Like the class clowns.
Yeah,
You
they
know what
get-
I mean?
yeah,
Like they get the
popularity contest.
attention. So like the smart kids don't get no attention. It's not really cool to be smart. So I feel like there's a lot of smart kids who dumb themselves down just to fit in with everybody else.
And what I
Understand
would
that.
say about that is like our schools, particularly in the metro area. And what I mean by that is like you go to Jeffco right now, and it's just certain neighborhoods of Jeffco look like the north side when we grew
Yeah.
up in the north
Yeah.
side.
It's
Yeah.
because it's spread out. You know, the new north side is
Lansdowne's-
spread out.
Exactly.
You know, it's in
It's up in
Thornton, it's in
Adams
North
County.
Glen.
Yep.
It's
That's misplacement.
Westminster.
yeah.
But with that said, like all of these schools, whether it's North High School or Westminster High School just up Lowell, they're built that way by design, my friend. They want people like you and I, like Rage, to fail because the status quo is what keeps people in the upper class, the 1%. They need us to fail, to keep their kids where they want to be, to keep that money where they want to be, to keep
Well,
those
you're
jobs.
welcome, guys. We failed. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's how systemic oppression works.
We
brother.
did it for you.
And I don't mean that like we failed, but what I'm saying is when we think about, you know, the next generation of students, we got to make sure we push against some of those systems of oppression because they're there and they're serving who they were there to create very, very well.
And when you want to say something about it, they're like, no,
Yeah.
you know, this shit's been like this for blah, blah, blah. And you're just,
So how do
you don't know, but there is a system of oppression.
Oh, without a
How
doubt.
are there ways that you feel, and if we can talk about this, but do you feel like the education system is broken in any way?
Absolutely. I'll be the first to say that as an educator, as an administrator, our current system, to Matt's point, you know, doesn't teach those critical thinking skills to get our youngsters to be outside of the box thinkers.
Yes.
Because, you know, think about the world we live in today. When you get that good office job, they just want you at your computer being complacent, doing that work, even if it's well paying. And with that said, critical thinkers, on the other hand, are able to move outside of that box, to break that box, to break that glass ceiling. And I believe that folks in education, if they don't push for that, if they're just doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to have these systems where brilliant students continue to fall through the cracks.
Yep.
And that's not okay.
Because I felt like I was really smart too. Like I always did good in school. I just didn't do good with everything else. I was fucking up. But as far as like school came, I felt like I was smarter than some of my teachers. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like there wasn't anything that they could put in front of me that I wasn't able to do.
Every
Like,
time.
I won spelling bee twice. Like,
Wow. That's
I was
cool,
I was
man.
really smart, but just the way the world goes, like, kind of pushes you to suppress that.
The way that
So-
my attention goes, like I remember in North, I hated my classes because I didn't care. So I kept telling myself, just fucking care and do it. You know what I mean? Apply yourself.
Yep.
And I remember when I just applied myself, even just like, I'm going to do the fucking homework here. I'm just going to sit in the front and not listen to the homies in the back who are fucking around throwing balls at each other. And you know what I mean? Of
course.
Playing catch in the middle of the class. I remember I would kill those classes like history, language arts, math. I would fuck those classes up. But then just
My problem
would
was I
stop
never
paying
did my
attention.
homework. My schoolwork
yeah.
was immaculate,
Uh-huh.
but my homework was missing.
Yeah.
It never made it.
That's why I decided to do my homework. in
But see,
class.
nowadays they don't
Yeah,
even make
absolutely.
kids do homework nowadays. And I'm like, bro, if I was in school now and they didn't make me do homework, I'd have straight A's.
Yeah.
Easy.
You know, the education system that we were used to, you know, as 30 plus year olds, right? It's very different to what students are used to right now. I think that there's some positives and some negatives with that, but at the same time, you're right.
My alarm. It's my alarm going off.
But you're right, Matt. Though, like if
Mr.
I
Hunt,
think
keep doing
that with the direction we're moving, and I believe number one, I want to start again. The system's broken,
Yeah.
but we are slowly moving in the right direction to fix it, to right the ship, so the damn Titanic doesn't hit the iceberg.
Well, now with the access to information, there's no way that you could really suppress information like systematically because it's out there if you want to learn it. So they need to start teaching it.
Absolutely.
They need to teach life skills in school, like credit and how to, you know, make good decisions
How
with
to
your
get your
money.
mortgage
Like,
straight.
yeah,
Yeah,
pay
like
your taxes.
that stuff is what you need to know in life, and they don't teach it to you.
Yeah, I
Some
couldn't agree
classes
with you
are
more.
now, right? Are they doing that yet?
Well, there was home ec, like home economics or whatever, like, but I feel they didn't really teach what they needed to teach. I learned nothing about life in school.
Yeah, and I would say the problem is like, well, there are a lot of problems with public education for sure. That's why, you know, you think of some of these schools around here like Mullen or Matchbuff or Holy Family, right? Holy Family is probably the closest one to us because when we were growing up, it was right on 44th.
yeah.
These schools have a little bit more freedom because they're not tied to the public dollar, right? Even though they're religious and they have that
Yeah.
own connotation and what that means, they could do some of this cool shit that really benefits students. But as we were talking about before, in terms of like the system being broken, it needs people like us,
Yeah.
educated people that are educated, whether they have these degrees or educated in our own right, to say, hey, we see the system's broken and we have some ideas to make some of these changes.
Is there anything like that going on within the public school system here now? Like, are they trying to make those type of changes?
You know, it's tough because money, as we all know, controls the world. And things are changing, certainly, but we all remember CSAP, right?
Yeah.
Taking those fucking tests and then ACT and SAT.
Yeah.
Testing companies have a large influence on what is taught because we don't have time for critical thinking skills to be taught because the teachers are so focused on preparing students for the test because they know if North High School doesn't score well on a test or West High School doesn't score well on a test,
Their
they're-
funding.
their funding, their jobs, the whole school is at jeopardy if they're going to keep it open or close it. And so that is a huge problem in public education today. If we could get that big money out, specifically money that drives testing, we could do some of these really cool things that open up the curriculum for some of the things that actually matter in life.
Yeah, I remember one year I got
Politics.
I got
Politics.
sent home during CSAP, and I didn't get to complete my CSAP one year because I was doing my CSAP, and a marijuana pipe fell out of my pocket.
Oh, man.
And
Take the test high. Get high scores.
yeah, so they sent me home. I wasn't able to do my CSAP that year.
Did Ivory show up and, you know, give you some answers?
I wish he did. I wish he did.
He's like, no, not that one.
Yes.
That's a reference to how I felt.
I'm just-
Yeah, how high? The first one, not the second one.
Yeah. So what are the new one? Is it called CMAP or something like
It's
that?
called CMAS. And actually,
CMAS, yeah.
I don't even know what it stands for these days because they change it so much.
I opted my son out. this year.
Absolutely.
And I bet you like that was a disservice towards the school, but it's a disservice towards the school system as a whole to base the fucking school's knowledge just off of these, you know what I mean, off the funding.
School is more about like teaching the kids to comprehend stuff. It's not really about teaching kids life skills that are going to last them forever. They're like, it's more about comprehension. Like, did you retain all this information? That's what I feel like the testing is all about. Yeah.
I'll even go further, Matt. Testing, or not schooling in general, teaches our current generation of students. It taught us as well just to be good employees.
Like obedience.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Who started this fucking school structure like this, though?
That's a
I
good
heard it
question.
was like the bankers. Who the fuck are they? The dudes who control the banks and shit. The Rockefellers. I heard that. Maybe this is a conspiracy that I heard about, but they're the ones who created this system to create employees and servants, and they established this whole structure like that.
Yeah, because I feel like the way that we do education now.
I don't know. That's just.
I feel like there's other ways. I don't think there's really any right or wrong way to do it as long as you're doing it. So the way it's structured now was a little weird, and that's why I didn't agree with it going to school. Like, I feel like they're just trying to mold you into,
being a servant.
They're just trying to mold you.
Just think about, like, even today, you go into Skinner and pick up your son. There's probably a bell that starts the day, a bell that tells them when they're going to their next period, and a bell that ends the day.
Yep.
So it's just like you're in a big factory, right? And you're waiting on that bell saying you're on the shift. And then the next bell, lunchtime. And then the final bell, okay, you could go home, but we'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. Can I get your opinion? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask his opinion on what do you think about Mike Johnston? He's mayor, right? Now he's the mayor now, right?
He's mayor-elect. He ran on an education campaign, I'll say that. But a lot of educators do not support him because of the state laws that he passed when he was in the state legislature. They were totally anti-union and anti-teachers. And if you're a Democrat, that's not really true to being a Democrat. And he is a Democrat.
He was a principal, right?
He was a principal out in Mapleton, so a school that was very near Skyview, so 88th and York. But a lot of times, myself as an administrator, you try to have really good relationships with the teachers, the people that you supervise, but it's tough, because teachers don't always trust the people at the principal's office or the assistant principal's office.
A lot of the people from the admin, they weren't teachers. Like the principals, a lot of them haven't been teachers, right?
It depends. It's a lot different these days.
Okay.
But I won't name any names of people that we know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that we know, people that we talked about before the podcast started, both liking them and not liking them so much.
Yeah.
They were teachers, but they were teachers not necessarily in the classroom. They were PE teachers, things like that. And I don't have anything wrong with a PE teacher.
Yeah.
Coach St. Clair, I love her to death.
Love her.
But it's a lot different, teaching English or teaching math versus, hey, we're going to do some push-ups today.
Yeah. Yep. I do understand that. I was going to ask your opinion. Do you believe in the prison, or what is it called? The school to prison pipeline?
Absolutely.
You believe in that?
It exists without a doubt.
It's institutionalizing.
Absolutely. Some of the things we talked about earlier, we know people that have been on that pipeline or in that pipeline and are never going to get out of our Department of Corrections. And it takes people like us to talk about it, to say, hey, it exists, it's real. Mm-hmm. We know people who were impacted by it, and that shit's wrong. We need to make sure that our next generation of students, your kids, your nieces, nephews, aren't anywhere near that. And the only way to do that is to be involved in your kids' education, for real.
Yeah, I talked to my niece like a couple of weeks ago. She's like 16 or 17. I was asking her about like some history stuff that, you would think that they would know. She had no fucking clue who John F. Kennedy was, who like, you know what I mean? Like, I would say a name like, who's this person? Yeah. No idea. Like, they're not teaching you this? Like, what are they teaching nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, testing is probably the biggest source of money in education, because the testing companies, Pearson, the College Board, they are big lobbyists in Washington, D.C. So even our current senators here in Colorado receive millions from these people. And so when they do, they vote the way they want them to vote, you know?
Yeah.
And so you think about it. If you're a testing company and you know if there's a federal law that requires testing, they're going to be tests in every single public school, in every single state, in every single district in the country. That is billions of dollars. So if you could buy the lawmakers, you get to control what happens in schools. And that's why we don't have these critical thinking skills that we need to break some of these systems of oppression to change the things that we all impacted or we all experienced as students.
Another thing too is how are administrators, people higher up, planning on keeping the children safe? Because right now is kind of a weird time. Like I send my kids to school like
Scared.
kind of scared, to be honest with you. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. You know, there are different opinions on officers in schools, but what I'll say, in my opinion, and that's all it is, it's not the opinion of Denver Public Schools, but my opinion is when they took out school resource officers in Denver Public Schools, that was a decision that was not fully thought out. And what I mean by that is they pulled out school resource officers because they specifically said, the school board, that school resource officers were disproportionately writing tickets to Latino and African American students. And some data suggested that was true.
I would say that is probably true, but why not just tell them to stop doing that and keep the school safe? Why you know what I mean?
And so that's kind of my point. So my pushback was like, all right, let's look at some of these school resource officers. Let's see who they are. We probably all remember Officer Chavez.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was a good man.
He was a good man, and he was like us.
Pacheco.
He was a Chicano. Pacheco. And then the most recent one at North, Cindy Gomez, she was from the neighborhood, just like Chavez, just like Pacheco. And so that's something the school board didn't think about, because if you go into any public school in Denver, very few people look like us. But the school resource officers, whether you're out in Montbello, it was an African-American guy.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Somebody from the community.
Exactly.
That's how it should be.
And so what they did when they removed him is they removed one of the very few people that look like our students from our schools, that our students trusted.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chavez was doing his job, but he was an okay guy.
We
He
also,
was
well,
good. Yeah, he would see us ditching.
we
Be like,
also
"What up,
have
guys?"
a very we respond to trauma when we see police officers.
Yep.
At least when I see a police officer, I automatically feel like I'm guilty over some weird shit.
Me too. Even when I'm driving, I'm like,
what my lights out? You know what I mean?
You know, it's bad
That's
when a
just
dude with a
trauma.
PhD gets nervous around police.
And that,
Yeah.
yeah, that's real. I don't feel
Straight
I don't
up.
feel uncomfortable when I see a fucking firefighter. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that's for them to take Pacheco out or Chavez. That's crazy because they're the only familiar face there, other than like some of the teachers.
And not
who
only
did.
that, but I honestly
to
believe
the
that if
communities.
something were to happen, that fool would have ran in this fucking school.
Yeah,
like,
no, I feel like Chavez would have did something. Say at North, you know, God forbid.
Yeah, I feel like
there
he
was
would have did something.
Anything
I
that
think
happened
so, he
like that,
would, too.
Chavez would definitely. He was armed and he's ready for all of that. you
He
know
was
what I
armed
mean?
and dangerous.
He was a police officer for how long before he was up in North?
yeah, he was on the street for a long time. And then he was at West when they pulled out the police officers.
Wow.
They brought him back in, the police officers, but he wanted to stay in school. So now he's in a suburban school district serving those students.
I wonder how he's doing up there. Maybe there's a lot more kids up there that are, because the misplacement and gentrification that happened has pushed us to these outer suburban areas. I wonder if they're just as comfortable up there, rather than like he's facing.
It
some
depends
sort of-
on
who's
what
this?
area you're
Yeah,
in,
I wonder
because
where
some
he's at now.
suburbs are still predominantly,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
not us.
yeah.
You know, he's actually in the district where I did my research in. So I would encounter him quite often, and
cool.
Mr. Sandos, because Mr. Sandos, he runs the district down there.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard he's a big dog now.
Yeah, he is. But what I'll say about that is that district, I actually love it, fellas, because
Yeah.
it's small, it's working class. And it reminds me of like the Northside, like 32nd and Clay, back when we were walking around 32nd and Clay in high school.
Yeah.
Because there's all these like llantera shops, you know, tire shops, taquerias, just working class businesses, man. You walk down 32nd Avenue now, you wouldn't be hard pressed to find a beer for less than $10 or
But
a
if you
burger
want
for
something
less than 20.
gluten free,
It's there, yeah.
Well, there's still Panaderia Rosales there.
yeah, it's still
Thank
there.
you.
Yeah,
Powerful.
Exactly.
I was just up in there the other day.
but more like on
Still go super
West 32nd, like up by Lowell. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
all.
It's
all
always,
the only
it's
thing
always
that
been
the only
like
thing
that,
I would
though.
say is still there from back in the days. The Pizza Alley.
Yeah.
New
Everything
owners,
else
I
over
believe
there
so.
is like
New owners.
everything else over there is like super like you know
Gentrified. We could say.
super gentrified.
Yeah. Fuck, it's always such a weird thing talking about gentrification. I fucking hate it. There's pros and cons to the situation. It's just as long as we were able to still be a part of our community, bro. That's just what's hurt so fucking much. Is it's like we can't even afford rent in our own neighborhoods. I don't have a problem going across the street and getting a biscuit or getting some food and shit and supporting these businesses. But as long as they appreciate me being a customer there. Sometimes we walk into these organizations, these businesses, and it doesn't feel like we're welcome.
They look at us funny, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like we're not.
We know the vibes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Like, I'm not a criminal. I'm just
Yeah.
here to get some food. You know what I mean? I was just telling brother here that I went into this one place, and I won't drop their name. I ordered my food, and then walked back outside. It was a biscuit. Walked outside, and then I think I went to go smoke, and then came back in. And then the lady's like, how can I help you? I'm like, I'm just waiting for my food. I literally just walked outside. I was just waiting for my food. And then she's like, you already picked up your food, didn't you? And I'm like, no, I literally just walked outside.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And just like that type of situation, like my food was sitting in front of her the whole time. And I'm kind of just like,
That's ridiculous.
it's right here, but you could call your manager. I don't want to do this. Like, call your manager, please. Or if there's a camera, like, I just want my food. How come none of these other people got that type of fucking
Yeah.
reaction? Like, I'm not a criminal, lady. I just want to help.
There's a
support
lot
you.
of
I'm
new
hungry.
businesses in this neighborhood that you walk into and get side-eyed right away.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes me so uncomfortable and unhappy with gentrification, right? Our families, we love this neighborhood, right? There was nothing wrong with this neighborhood when we were coming up. And the businesses that populated the neighborhood, you know, the panderias, the chubbies, back
The
when it was the old school
Camargos.
chubbies, when you were waiting like a can of sardines, right? And so I don't think the people that are gentrifying the neighborhood understand like the tremendous amount of loss we have all faced as people who just, this was our hood, still is our hood.
And how much we gave to this fucking community, though,
Yep.
and to the commerce. How much?
And it's
we
crazy because the people
built-
that move
we
in,
built this fucking
they don't even
neighborhood.
support
We
the
did.
businesses that were already there. That's why you see the corner stores shutting down, restaurants shutting down, because they move in the neighborhood because they want to be a part of the neighborhood, but they don't support any of the businesses that were already there. They open up their own shit. And when we go into those businesses, they look at us funny.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
literal modern day colonization.
Yeah.
vibes. And
It would be fine
sucks.
if we were more welcome in their establishments, but it's clear that we really aren't.
Some of them are and not all of them. I don't want anybody to think that we're trying to push an agenda of like, fuck them, because a lot of them are very welcome, but the ones who aren't, they definitely make it known.
And and it's loud.
But
So-
I kind of want to give a shout out to some of the businesses that are still around, like La Cocinita down the
Oh
street.
yeah, Cocinita, Camargos.
The
Rosales.
Panderia you're talking about, and even the shop next door, like that place is cool, man. I had dinner there the other day, and
What's some other good ones that are from the hood that Lucero's,
oh,
Chubby's,
for sure.
Santiago's.
Santiago's is fire. Tacos Jalisco's is still doing.
Carl's Pizza, even.
Carl's Pizza.
Carl's Pizza's still there. Yep.
There's so
That
many
one's still
places in our
popping.
neighborhood, and what I would like what we were gonna do during COVID, but it would kind of fuck this up during all the like regulations. But we wanted to have like a restaurant day,
Oh, that would be
and
cool.
like we just go and have like a little picnic or like
Yeah.
a music thing. Like, let's play some music and let's have a community event, and we're just here supporting our people. Like, hey, Headz Up, whoever follows Headz Up, come to fucking Panaderia Rosales to go get some tamales or a slice of cake or some donuts type shit. You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to do. We still might do that, but
Yeah, it would be nicer to
Yeah.
more connect the two groups instead of there being such a separation. Like, you guys are new in our neighborhood. This is, we're old in this neighborhood. Let's fucking come together. Let's not look at each other sideways when we go into your establishments. Like,
if anything,
let's support each other.
We have more in common with these white folks that are in our hood than the motherfucking white folks that are in, even the brown folks that are in these white houses and type shit like that. You know what I mean? Or these businesses that are downtown. We have more in common with the folks that we see walking around with their dogs and their kids here.
Yeah,
Due
because
to classism.
Yeah, we both love the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But to your point, we need to find a middle ground where we can love it together. And it's not the old versus the new.
I feel like that's such how it is. There's such a contrast between the old and the new.
I'm going to bring this up on air. I don't even give a shit. What I would like you to help me, tell me if you are interested.
Sure.
What I want to do for Headz Up is I want to have us a community day at La Raza or Rocky Mountain Park or any of our community parks, and have like a job fair. Remember the job fairs back in school where they would show us like different resources on how to go to college, how to, they would how to do your taxes even. Remember those things? And they would help us sign up to be voters or anything like that to make change in our community and go to these community council, or what are they called? The council meetings?
Yeah, city council meetings.
Yeah, city council meetings. I would like to have a day like that for Headz Up. Also, we have live music, we have live danza. And there's other people here like, hey, this is the resources that we have in the community, and this is how we can take care of them. And it's not just for our gente, but it's everybody in this community. And if you want, come and get a free plate of food too.
Yeah, I would love to help.
I want to do something like that.
There's so many resources that our community does not know how to activate, because they're there. That's your point, Rage. They're there. They just need to know how to flip the goddamn switch on.
Yeah, and it's how our older folks. Thankfully, we were blessed with the internet. When did you first get on the internet? I was like a senior in high school. You know what I mean? That's when I was like, oh shoot, this old ass Nokia phone has a slow ass internet connection. We grew up.
I remember having a computer in the house that took like 3 hours to dial up. It'd be like
a lot of
all kinds of noise.
A lot of our older gente, all of them, they didn't grow up with the internet. So when I put a phone in front of my dad, he's like, I can't fucking see. Oh shit, my camera's falling. Like they don't know how to.
I know they look at it like this.
Yeah, they're trying to look at their camera like, I can't, what I mean? But now that's just proving the point of they don't know technology.
Honestly though, it's kind of good because I got some uncles and aunties and shit that I don't want to know technology.
You don't want them to see what you're up to on your social media.
No, I don't want to see what they're up to on their social media.
You don't want to see the third face profile picture.
Exactly. So, trying to get it in there,
yeah.
But as long as we can teach even the older generation and the newer generation how to get inform them how to get out there and be active in our community, spend money in these in our gente stores and stuff. And like, should we even have like on 8th and Federal, we have like places down there where you could have your own shop. Remember the little in-store flea market?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just like, fuck. I want to just educate. That's the purpose of this podcast, is just to educate and share our experience, have fun, you know what I mean, and just educate as best as we can while we have powerful individuals like you that are helping us educate. You know what I mean? And you're educating us.
Yeah, and I would say, it's a two-way street, right? As I mentioned before, a formal education is one thing, but everyone is educated in one way or another. Like I think of my grandmother, right? She grew up in the valley, southern Colorado. A lot of us are from northern New Mexico or southern Colorado.
My family's from Antonito.
There you go. Yep.
You ever heard of the Basero?
Yeah, of course.
That's why we're here.
Exactly. They needed the strong arms to come do the shit that no one else wanted to do.
You want to hear something crazy? In every fucking war, Latinos have been one of the predominant racial groups in every war.
Dude, the Navajos helped win, what was it, World War I or II?
Two.
World War II. The Navajo, the code talkers.
Yeah. Like fucking 500,000
because
indigenous folks
nobody in the world knew Navajo, so they decided to speak that language. That shit literally helped us win the war.
Yeah, we were helping the American Revolutionary Revolutionary War.
I mean, if you think about it, though, like, haven't minorities always been the backbone of this country? Didn't slaves build the White House? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know that slaves built the White
Yeah,
House.
they did.
Holy moly!
Crazy as a civil war
a
was
slave
going,
probably wrote the Declaration of Independence. Like,
Oh shit!
you know what I mean? Like, this country was built on the backbone of minorities.
You know where they got like the forms of democracy and like how to the structure of that from the Iroquois League.
That was the original Chat GPT. They just
For real, though.
threw slaves at the problem,
Yeah,
and it got fixed.
Our
Yeah.
people have taught a lot to this world. The Mayans came up with the concept of zero. The Mexicas.
I mean, they
taught
came up with the
world-
calendar.
Yeah, the Mexicas taught the world of agriculture, fucking all the different foods, different languages, mathematics, science,
Astronomy.
Yep.
and all.
And a
all
lot of the
that
Europeans
history-
just came and were like, "Oh, you guys do this?"
And what they did,
You
with
know,
their, what they
we're
did
gonna
with-
discover
yeah,
it.
what they did with our history and all that shit, and our culture and our heritage, they just erased it, and our money,
Yeah,
all of our
and our
gold,
riches, yeah, they
our
took it.
gold and our statues and everything, they melted it and made it into their fucking currency.
Yeah,
and
that's
whatever
a-
they kept is in museums.
Yep. And that's exactly why the conquistadors came here. Cortez and Pizarro and all those guys.
Pizarro.
Columbus.
Pablo Diaz.
He was a dirtbag.
All of those guys. And
Pizarro.
they came just to, take our things, do horrible things to our women and children, and then go back to Europe saying, hey, that's ours now.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm gonna talk about it again.
The Hueticos.
And I did my family history,
Wow.
and
I think I saw this on
I
Facebook.
found my colonizers in my
Oh,
family.
no way.
Yeah, one of my 16th great grandfather, his name was Pablo Diaz,
Wow.
and we talked about this previously on a few other podcasts. But I wanted to bring it to. I wanted to talk about it with you.
For
Like,
sure.
Yeah, I found those motherfuckers, and it's crazy to see. Like during that time, it was horrible times. You know what I mean? They were. You know how syphilis was made
No.
by fucking people, fucking sheep,
Whoa.
and then raping our grandmothers.
Oh, my God.
And that's how syphilis became fucking huge throughout Americas. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I know that was like a weird tangent and shit, but that's like literally found the colonizers, and this is how our people died, not just from warfare, but rather chemical and sickness warfare. Like that shit's wild. I don't know.
Yeah, it is wild.
I like talking on that. Talking
That's-
about the hint. I could talk about this shit forever.
Well, that makes me think about why I love to embrace my Chicano identity, right? Because for me, and everyone has their own reasons why they identify as Chicano or why they don't identify as
Yeah,
Chicano.
yeah.
But for me, at least for myself, I don't know what my indigenous background is, but I know it's in my blood. We're not lucky like some of our Native American friends who are enrolled in a particular tribe,
Yeah.
but we are absolutely indigenous.
100%. Yeah.
And so for me, like, as I was growing up, like so much of the Spanish side was embraced, right? Like, you're Spanish, you're a Spaniard. And I'm like, I'm brown, dude. Look at how I look. I don't look like some
There's
dude
still a lot
out
of people
Spain.
nowadays that say, like, I'm Spaniard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, but you don't understand how much indigenous blood you actually have in you.
And
Probably
why?
at 30%.
And
Yep.
why you're Spaniard?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And why?
Why are
My-
you Spaniard?
Yeah, I'm Spaniard like a
Yep.
motherfucker.
I'm not.
This is literally called the Spaniard.
Yeah, exactly.
But why though? And that's my why was answered with faces and names this time.
Yep.
I'm like, whoa, this is why because they were raping and fucking and raping and murdering all throughout northern Mexico and Mexico. In that.
We're fucking the sheep, too.
Yes. In those areas,
Jesus.
in that area, they had a place that was called New Spain.
Yep.
You know that?
And the crazy thing about that too is, so they did that, and then after they said, okay, we're going to send our Catholic missions here so we could convert the indigenous people. And that's why all up and down California, you have San Francisco, San Jose, San Clarita, all these places.
Bernardino. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's ridiculous that they could do that in the name of God, right?
Yeah.
In the name of God. But back to why I love embracing my Chicano identity is because when I was a kid, like we just talked about, that Spanish identity was embraced. And I think it's because it's a us versus them. And what I mean, like, people could go through the buffet line really quickly, right? and then look at the most recent immigrants like, oh man, we're not like them. And there are certain differences between Chicanos and people who came to America in the past generation or two. But like, I don't like when we look down on our brown brothers or our brown sisters,
at all.
because we are them.
I'll talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that. I fucking do not like that. I have someone who's very close to me, and if you're watching this, I'm very disappointed in you. And I won't drop the name or the derogatory term that was said, because we have rich indigenous blood in our veins, pumping through our veins and keeping our cause alive. And to hear him say, I don't want to say it. Should I say it? The word that he used?
I probably know.
Wetback.
Yeah.
To say that shit and talking about immigrants are coming over here and they get shit for free. You're the same fucking face that they have.
Exactly. We're
Dude,
all
America
brown.
was founded on immigrants.
Yes.
And had the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo never happened, half of Colorado would still be Mexico and all the way down.
1857 or something.
That's
like
why
that.
if your if you could trace your family back to this region in the last couple hundred years, you are Mexican.
Yes, exactly.
You are also indigenous.
Our grandparents, if they're from, northern New Mexico, southern Colorado, which a lot of
Taos,
us are.
San Luis Valley.
This is us.
Yes.
Bro, I
This
run
is
into
us.
so many motherfuckers who look like me who are like, yeah, my family's from the San Luis Valley.
Yep.
I'm like, bro, how those little tiny towns, how the fuck are we all from there?
Exactly.
Because there was the migration.
You said
It's crazy.
You said you're from Antonito, right?
My family's from Antonito.
My family's from Monte Vista. Where's your family from,
My
Rach?
family's from Taos,
Taos.
New Mexico.
Yeah, and I got family from Taos
got
also too.
All throughout Espa, like all
Española,
throughout-
Las
all throughout
Vegas, New Mexico.
Yeah, Las Vegas. That's where my dad's
So I
side
got
is from.
family in Juarez.
My
Yeah.
dad,
So-
my dad's dad is from Chihuahua, and then my mom's dad, his dad is from what is it? How do you say the name? Sinaloa.
Oh, Sinaloa.
Uh-huh. And then other than that, like they're Lakota, they're Pueblo, they're maybe Tarahumara, like
That's incredible.
Mexica, you know what I mean? But then it goes to the Spanish.
Yeah.
But when you get to the Spanish, there's no more Mexican history. It's just
Pablo Diaz was out here fucking sheep.
Yeah, before you know what I mean? Before we get to that Spanish lineage, or once we get to the Spanish lineage, they're just where's our other people at? They weren't made yet. You know what I mean? No, it's because
They weren't documented yet.
Yeah, they burned the books. They got rid of the
everything.
libraries.
Yeah,
did all that.
The Mexicas had a universal health care and a universal education. Do you know that?
I did not. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
Free education for everybody and health care to everybody. That shit's wild, and that's the shit that was burned down. We had aqueducts. We had
Yep.
Well, it was easy to do free healthcare when you were just rubbing a leaf on some shit and praying that shit.
They had mad.
They didn't have
knowledge.
vaccines.
The hell yeah, they did. They had mad knowledge, and they were.
Well, I
they were
guess
a
maybe
clean
I'm a little
people.
uneducated on that. How did they have vaccines back in the day? What did they make them out of?
I don't know. Look at how they have just the herbal. You know what I mean? Just when they say Eastern medicine, that's not. It didn't just was there. That was just the common knowledge in the world.
Yeah.
And it was just taken from us, and now that's why we're on the Western medication now. Like, hey, take this pill because you got
Here,
a
take
headache.
these opiates.
Yeah, take these pills, and just because you have a headache, drink some water, eat a banana, and go lay the fuck down. Like,
Drink it, strawberry
yeah,
banana,
stay
naked.
hydrated. You know, it all full of GMOs.
That shit's amazing.
It's beautiful.
Wake you right up.
Yeah, it will.
You know what I was just thinking about though, bro? You know where I miss the keg, the bar. Remember on
Oh, for
38?
sure. Yeah.
I miss JD's. I miss the people that were in JD's. I know Matt
Yeah.
is like very, very close to John Sanchez, and rest in peace to brother John. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he was
Don't
like
you
a father
miss those-
figure to me.
you miss
Yeah.
those places?
I do miss those
yeah.
places. I miss those people too. But yeah, JD's, all the old school places that aren't around anymore, that were a pillar in the community,
Absolutely.
I maybe not JD's is like a pillar in the community, but it was somewhere where everybody went.
It was a gathering place for us Chicanos, for
Yeah.
sure. You go on there in a Friday, Saturday night, DJ Tomas was on the ones and twos, John was at the door, Pepsi was behind the bar. That is what I miss about the changes of this neighborhood. Because places like that, they get replaced. And they don't come back. They don't replace JD's with another JD.
Nah. That will never be
Yeah,
replaced.
JD's is a flat parking lot now.
Yeah, you know how many people have earn stripes in that parking lot. Like,
Me when I was a child,
yeah, like
surely.
either you've gotten beaten up or you beat somebody up in that parking lot.
Wow.
If you're from our neighborhood, that's
That's why we had the when you say it wasn't a pillar, or yeah, it wasn't a pillar. I think it was a pillar,
but
bro. Like that was
not in that sense of the
yeah.
word. Like they didn't like help the community, but it was a community.
I just think it was a gathering place.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
gathering
place.
place for the community. So I guess it did help the community, but I feel like some people got helped
Lot
into
of-
an ass
a
beating
lot
over
of-
there.
a lot of
for
moms
sure.
and dads come from that.
Yeah, a lot of
That
grandmas
bar.
and grandpas come from that bar.
Abuelitos and ancestors.
Yeah, I used to run into you run into the older crowd that go in there all the time.
Yeah,
The
for
older
sure.
Northsiders.
Yep,
Yeah.
they would go in like the day.
There was like
Yeah.
3 generations that would be in that bar all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was dope. I miss those places where just a lot of the gente would come together.
Yeah.
And even if it just is to drink, bro, it's like, where the fuck else do we have this? We don't have
Exactly.
this type of places anymore.
And they're
Remember-
going away.
You remember the VFW?
Yeah, dude.
Those were beautiful back in the day because those were our gente who were veterans from
Yeah.
our neighborhoods that still take care of these neighborhoods and go into community council or city council meetings and shit like that. They're not there anymore. The VFW that was right there off of Becos or Tijon.
So what are the new
not there.
spots?
Well, the spots that still exist, that's what I'll say. I like to go to the Viking, actually, right here on Colfax. DJ
It's still called the
Tomas.
Viking?
Still called the Viking, and it's ran by Chicano folks. The guy, Sean, he's a manager, cool guy. I'm actually going to stop there tonight if you guys are bored.
Hey,
But
Yeah, you could always catch a band over there or something, you know?
yeah. And then actually some of the new spots are in the suburbs, really, because as we talked about earlier, we're just getting pushed out. So
Yeah.
when we get pushed out and we're in Wheat Ridge or Westminster or Lakewood, that's where these spots are. So a spot that I really like is up on Lowell and 69th called
Yes.
the Outpost.
yes, my dad's always there.
I love the Outpost.
Do
My,
you
uncle, my
know
uncle
that-
lives above that spot.
No way, he lives
What?
right above in the apartments.
Yeah,
That is
they work at that.
cool.
My dad worked at that stone yard for like 20 years.
What
No
the
shit, it's
heck?
right behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
my
that's
my
cool.
uncle lives over there. Yeah.
My dad's always at the
What's your dad's name?
my name,
Yeah, got it.
Same
okay.
name.
Okay.
and
Big Rager.
What does he look like? Like you?
No, he's way more.
He looks like an
darker.
older native dude. He's
Okay.
got long
He's an old
hair.
Native cat. I'll
Okay.
show you a picture of
Yeah,
him. But
'cause-
he does karaoke there. If you're there while they do karaoke.
They do it on the weekends, Friday and Saturdays.
Yeah, he's always singing there.
Okay.
Always singing. He's actually, my pops is a very good singer, bro. He's
No
like,
way.
He's winning like karaoke contests and shit. And I'm like,
No way.
yes.
Yeah, I love that bar. So
It's a dope bar.
It's a
cheap,
dope bar.
too.
Cheap. Yeah, bro. You could get a mug. It's a tiny mug of Bud Light, Budweiser, or even Shock Top for like $2 or $2 and a quarter
Yeah.
or some crap.
I went in there with my dad one time and got fucked. And they were like $20. I was like,
You're like, what?
Damn, 20
Did you
bucks.
charge me for everything?
yeah, I know. I was like, I ain't even paying that. But then I checked my receipt. I'm like, oh, this is an itemized receipt. I got faded on the right proper budget, buddy.
Yeah, that I love.
Yeah,
places
I've never
like that.
actually been into that bar, but
It's cool.
like obviously I've known about that spot
It's
like my whole life too.
It's like JD.
I would
vibes
still call that like kind of the north side though, like right?
Yeah, I
to
mean,
brother.
it's technically Westminster, but
It's right into Adams County basically.
yeah, the north side, the border is 52nd, so it's 15 blocks up or so, but that's where our people are at now.
Yeah, no.
That's where our people are at.
Yep, just a couple blocks down the road, right by
Yeah.
Rusty High School.
Yeah, exactly.
This-
Yeah, I might have to check that
Cool
spot
little
out every.
I remember seeing.
now and again.
I remember going to a fun bar back in the day. It had like a bunch of paint on the walls and graffiti, and it had a urban vibe, hood vibe, but
Oh,
not
wow.
necessarily. Yeah, the welcome in. Where you used to
Oh,
go.
yeah, that-
He's
I-
like, "Where's this?"
I'm like, that sounds like my type of spot.
So that is your spot.
Yeah, the welcome in. That I cried when they closed that place down.
What happened?
Well, it was owned for a long time by a family that rented it out to the family that owned the welcome in. Then I guess that old man passed away, and he sold it to some Chicano guy. And I was like, oh, cool, man. He's gonna keep it. He's gonna keep it with his family. Oh man, that Chicano guy. He let's just say he supported a lot of different things that we don't support. He was a Trump dude.
Oh man,
And so he still owns it. He rents it out to his niece and nephew.
is it a venue still? A bar like that?
Yeah, it's a bar, and it's a pretty interesting bar. A lot of people that love that area call it Rhino. They love that bar.
What
But
is it called?
it's called
What's
What is it called?
What's our neighborhood? What's our name for it?
Shoot, it's right in between Globeville and Five Points. So depending on who you ask, it's Globeville to me. But if you ask other people, it's 5 Points.
Interesting.
But
it's
yeah.
like bordering both.
Bordering both, yeah, because it's right there by the Platte River, and that's pretty much a border of Globeville and 5 Points.
Is that basically considered almost Rhino too?
Yeah, that's
Rhino.
what new people call it now, Rhino, River North.
Little do they know, like Globeville, 5 Points, Cole, Swansea, those were the worst neighborhoods in this city back in the day.
Exactly. People don't understand that. And, I'm proud to be from Globeville. I was born and raised on 46th. And I actually, unpopular opinion, I consider Globeville more north side than
Yeah,
east
because
side.
it's like immediately north from
That's
downtown.
our-
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's our.
it's straight up Broadway, basically.
And then if you talk to some people from like the Quig Newton projects, they would take the Brown Bridge over from
Yes.
Globeville to the
Yep,
north
yep.
Do you
side.
remember the Brown Bridge?
Brown
I felt like
Bridge.
it was still connected. Just because the highway crossed through it doesn't mean those neighborhoods weren't still connected.
I appreciate
The north
that.
side, the Globeville was part of the north
It
side
was
for
just
sure,
right
for
down
sure.
48th for me.
But like
'Cause I grew
down
up off-
Swansea, and then you get to 5 Points, they were more calling it east side.
Yeah, Swansea is in Hilaria. They're different, in my
I
opinion.
don't
Yeah.
think you could ever call
Yeah, yeah.
Globeville the east side though.
Globeville
I
is
appreciate
I would
that.
Globeville
I
is
would
north
never do
side
that
for
shit.
sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Globeville's the north side.
Like even to this day, from my house, like if I hop in my car and drive to Chubby's, I'm there in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You still
You'd be
live
there in
our
3
neighborhood?
minutes if it wasn't for the highway crossing through
Exactly.
it. So
Do you still live in our neighborhood?
Yeah, so I own my house. I'm very proud to own the house that I grew up in. It was my grandparents' house, but now it's mine. Me and my old man are still there. My grandpa, he's pushing 80.
Hey,
And he just mowed the damn lawn today. So, he's doing all
It's
right.
a beautiful
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful day. today.
Yeah.
It's gonna snow later, I bet.
oh yeah,
Have a blizzard. Whiteout
No, it's
condition.
definitely gonna rain.
yeah.
I know that for sure.
Dang, bro, that's another powerful thing. You're a you're a doctor. You're owning your own home in the hood still.
hood.
You're making changes, whether it's like
Yeah, a
beautiful
Bank of
houses,
America
podcasts.
came in and took our home.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No,
We-
that's my
my parents could have super owned their home. They got it for $70,000.
Damn, when did that
When
happen?
Bank of America comes in 2008 and tells you if you want to refinance,
Oh, shit.
and you do it, a predatory loan, and then they end up taking everybody's house in the neighborhood. You know about that 2008 Bank
Yeah,
of
of
America
course.
shit.
Damn, that's when the
That was
neighborhood-
systemic gentrification. That was
Without a
when
doubt.
that was when it first turned.
Yeah, because as we talked about, the north side has been gentrifying for decades.
That was
But-
the straw that broke the camel's back.
exactly. That's when the dam broke.
Yeah, because
Water
I know
came out.
4 people on my block. The same thing happened to them. They were out, and then one family down the street, their house burned down because of faulty electrical.
Sure.
And I thought it was my fault because I used to sell the kid weed, and he came over. This day statute of limitations is out.
Oh man.
He came over and was asking me to sell him weed, and I was like, I'm not gonna sell you weed. You're like 13, and he was like, well, can you give me a paper? I was like 16, but he was like, can you give me a paper? And I was like, whatever, I'll give you a rolling paper. 3 hours later, fucking, I'm chilling watching a movie, and I see like helicop lights on my house. I'm like, damn, what's going on? I look out the window, and kid's house is in a fireball. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And I was like super nervous for a minute, but then they said, yeah, it was faulty wiring.
Sure.
And they all got out. Only the cat died.
Oh, you killed their cat.
I didn't do it.
Kill the family.
I
animal.
didn't do it. But yeah, that was like, that neighborhood completely turned because
So what,
they were trying to get us out, it seemed like.
What
Everybody.
Seemed like that was a good decision of the bank there to get your fucking ass out of there.
what
You're
cross
burning
streets was this?
44th and Decatur.
Right there. It's right
Big,
off Federal.
big 44, yeah.
Right off Federal. Jeez, man. That's incredible.
Yeah. And
So where
Bank of America came and took everybody's house.
your mom and dad, what part of the metro area are they staying in now?
My dad still stays. He stays in Arvada. I believe my mom stays in Arvada too.
Yeah, see, that's the perfect example.
Yeah.
We get pushed out, and then you're in a suburb. That's a
And my
mile or
dad's
two out.
from
I
the
would-
east side. My mom's from the north side.
Okay.
So, this is a lead-up question. Why do you feel like they're moving us out of our neighborhoods, especially the north side?
Yeah. So
Let me tell you.
They're trying to get different people in.
This is a systematic thing since our ancestors.
Absolutely.
The neighborhoods. Where are they moving us out of?
They're moving us out of the urban core out to the periphery.
Yes.
And actually, they do it for a very particular reason, right? So when our families moved into the north side, because I don't think we're Italian.
No.
I don't.
Italians
not
were
that
in the
good.
neighborhood first.
Yeah, but what's different between Chicanos and Italians and the Jewish folks too. Those folks, the Jewish folks, the Italians, the people in the neighborhood before us Chicanos, they chose to leave on their own accord. They're like, you know what? I'm going to move to Arvada. I'm going to move to Westminster. I'm going to move to Cherry Creek. The north side was good to me, but it's time to move on. And a lot of that was because a lot of people like us, our ancestors were moving in and they didn't want to be around us. So they're like, it's time to leave. What makes it different is the story you just shared, Matt. We were forcibly shown the door to the north side because of predatory practices and things like that. And so that's what people don't think about when they think about the changes of our neighborhood. Yeah. Sure, the neighborhood has always been different and different people have lived there, but we were pushed out of the neighborhood, not by choice.
Yeah. And what I was trying to get at too is it's because it's right in the core of our city.
Yep.
Of the state's capital, our downtown area. You know who lived there back in the day? The Western Arapaho and the Cheyenne tribes.
Absolutely.
So right there at the Confluence Park is where the big trades happened. You know what I mean? That's where they would get their foods, their even like all trading purposes. And then the colonizers came in and took that land from them.
Yep.
That's where their watering was. That's where they would set up camp. Straight up, it's been happening.
And it's crazy because they name the streets after them. They call it Arapahoe County.
Little
it's like
Raven Park.
they're like,
you know who Little Raven is?
Yeah. Yep.
The park Little Raven downtown?
I know the name, but who was Little Raven?
Chief Little Raven. He was I believe he was one of the chiefs of the Cheyenne.
Wow.
Or Arapaho. I have not as knowledgeable as I should be, but you could read about it down. They have the whole story down there. Where
they have like a plaque.
Yeah, he.
It's just weird how they put those monuments there to symbolize. Yeah, we did this.
Yeah, Little Raven.
It's tokenism in a way to say, like, hey, we love the history here, but they don't want to talk about the reality.
To me, it's like rappers shouting out their ops that they smoked, like smoking on that Arapaho pack. Let's name a street after them.
Yeah.
We got rid of these motherfuckers. Now let's honor them.
It's another powerful.
I don't like that's weird.
Another powerful park that we do have in here that was made for our gente.
Is La Raza?
Nope, because that was Columbus Park.
Which one?
Cesar Chavez.
Oh yeah, the one on Tennyson.
Yeah, it was named Cesar Chavez because of the Cesar Chavez Committee. So shout out to them for being powerful in our community and just keeping those traditions and that education alive and showing us different avenues of how we could stay succeeding in our communities, bro. Like that. Dr. Ramon Castillo.
Yeah, he's great.
A lot of the other folks that are in that community, which I would love to have them on the podcast.
Let me tell him about it. I know him.
Yeah, we spoke to them.
Yeah, we seen him at Chubby's a couple weeks ago.
No way.
Yeah, Headz Up used to be on the committee.
No way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw him at a Rajos about 2 months ago. Him and his son.
He's doing good now. He took an injury.
Wow.
He fell.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he fell like in his crawl space. He was doing something. I know. We heard like like a short story of it. He hurt himself and was stuck in his crawl space for like hours.
Dr. Ramon Castillo.
Yes.
Oh my
He was
goodness.
hurt for a good minute, and when we just recently seen him at the marcha, and we did an interview with him, and he looked good. You could tell.
Wow.
He was still probably hurt and like recuperating, but. So he's a powerful man.
So on the real, you guys need to connect with him with what he's doing now. So he's writing La Raza report for Denver Public Schools, and he's interviewing current students, so your son, alumni, both of you fellas, and faculty, staff, administrators like myself, so we could have a voice in how Denver Public Schools treated us when we were students or employees or whatever. Yeah. And from what we've all shared today, this morning, we need to talk about some of this shit. Yeah. Otherwise,
like you remember the walkouts and shit?
Yes.
We had walkouts.
You know where they were formed from?
The walkouts in LA.
The West Side walkouts that we had here with Corky Gonzalez and Nita.
The blowouts.
I think that really kind of stems from the big ones in LA too.
Yeah.
They made a movie about it. They used Corky's poetry in it.
You know what's
it was a pretty good
frustrating
movie.
about that? So there was a big news story, I think it was last school year, about these walkouts at North High. I love to support our community when that happens. But the people leading those walkouts were saying that those haven't happened in the North Side since like the 60s.
No, we did that shit in
we
like
did that.
06.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
We did that.
Fucking freshman year. I was
Yeah.
the first.
I remember there
When
was
the
some
schools
kids
came
that weren't
together.
allowed to walk
Exactly.
out.
Do you remember when we walked out the school? We walked out of North and there was Highlands.
Yep.
And then the CEC was coming and fucking hundreds of kids walked straight down
Yep.
Spear.
Yeah,
And
we
then when
met up
got-
right there too, because
and
Escuela.
we met up with PS1,
Yup.
and then we met up
My
with
school was
West.
like chaperoning it.
I'm
So
getting the
all the
chills
people
talking
that
about
were
that, bro.
walking the walkout was like my teachers and shit at Escuela. Our school chaperoned that
Oh yeah,
walkout.
the Loca was right there.
Yeah.
We all met at CEC.
That school
I
kind of
was
organized
crazy.
that walkout. They educated on us about the original walkouts in LA and what those were about. Not getting good textbooks, not being taught your history, being forcibly taught like shit you didn't want to learn. Like,
And
It's
so
got-
and they
happens
beat
again.
kids. They beat those kids. They pepper sprayed them. They were kids walking out, and they were beating the shit out of them.
and that's the frustrating thing, right? Like that history that we were all a part of didn't happen 15 years ago or so, but people now are like, oh yeah, we didn't have walkouts in the North Side since the 60s.
Yeah,
Are
no.
you kidding me?
We had one in like 05, 06.
Yes, and keep saying that.
My
Oh,
son,
07,
my son
yeah.
had a walkout this year at Skinner.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was like it was like a peaceful walkout. I was kind of like, what the fuck is this about? But it was like for like the public system and like the underprivileged, I believe so. I could be wrong, but they had a little walkout, and I had my son join, but it was only around the perimeter of where he goes to school at.
Okay.
It was cool. Like I was trying to tell him like, this is what this is about. Just be careful. And when we went, there was police and people.
There was
beat
people
up on
getting
us.
pepper sprayed.
There
Yeah.
was police people getting beat up on their bikes. Remember that dude walked and was like, "Go back to Mexico, you motherfuckers." Remember that? That dude got like
don't.
ravaged on his bike.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids
It was.
just beat the shit out of him.
Some Northside kids showed him what's up.
Yeah.
He probably got beat up by CEC North.
Did you
End.
ever remember doing like the Four Corners March?
Where? When we were young?
Yeah.
Yes.
Escuela used to put them on. They did the Four Corners March. Every team would have a color of a flag: yellow, red, white,
don't
black.
Oh, I don't remember.
And
that.
they would march from north, south, east, and west, and we all met at Cuernavaca.
Wow. Oh, yeah, way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Holy moly's, that's a
Yeah,
minute
they used to
ago.
do. Escuela used to do all that shit, and we used to be able to like, be a part of it. You know what I mean?
happened to Escuela? What happened to it?
Funding, probably
Yeah.
no money.
They lost funding from the district for whatever reason because
Well,
charter
I
schools-
think I know what reason, but
Well, let's talk about it because
I mean, they probably didn't want them teaching what they were teaching. They were kind of like, I wouldn't say radicalizing, but they were teaching us our history to a point where we were like, okay, well, obviously there's something wrong. Like that, people in power don't want schools that are teaching kids shit like that.
Going against the grain.
Going against the grain, especially going against your country and policies and shit like that. You know what I mean? And like, Escuela was really teaching us how to protest, how to organize.
yeah,
Shit like that. They weren't just teaching us school shit. They were teaching us how to have power in
How to
your
be community leaders.
Yep.
A lot of those kids went on to have successful stories and be graduates and
yeah, that's a good
powerful.
point.
They're still powerful members in the community. You know
Yeah.
what I mean,
Yeah,
you
what-
motherfucker, you.
That was a good school. I'm glad I went there. I
still
wish
a
I would have
powerful-
graduated, but it is what it is. I can't go
You
back
went
now.
there- you went there, bro. You're doing just as good as any
I
of these
soaked
other
that shit
motherfuckers
up
out
though.
there.
Like, I soaked it up. I was interested in it.
For sure.
There was kids that went there that weren't like from that.
Yeah.
So they had no interest. They just went there because it was an alternative to public school where they were unsuccessful at.
Yeah.
They go to an alternative school because that was the only school that would accept them. That's really the only reason why I went there. And then
He's like, but I benefit.
come to find out, like my mom, like my grandpa his name's Dave Gonzalez. He's Corky's cousin.
Oh yeah,
So like
that's cool.
I found out that I was related to them. So I was interested in it. I wanted to go there.
Bro, you're like on the border of being a revolutionary. We just got to get you into that for real.
Did you say on the border?
Yeah. I mean, you just got to jump that wall, wherever it is,
You gotta
metaphorically
go
or
through that
physically.
tunnel.
Yeah, just
Find a tunnel, bro.
blast through it.
So what were you saying though? That Escuela is a charter, and like, why do you think they closed down?
Yeah, the demographics of the neighborhood have shifted so much. Sadly, I think the district said that they couldn't pull in enough people,
That might have, might have had something to do with
They
it.
didn't want to try to help first.
and so that was the excuse, right? And as an employee of the district, they'll do what they want, whether the community says otherwise or not. Not saying that's right. I actually don't think that's right, but that's how kind of all public.
Isn't it
education
already
works.
a school again, though?
No, it's like some sort of market, bro. You go in there,
For
and it's
real?
like they have different, like a coffee shop, like a fresh smoothie
No
shop.
way.
place.
I swear to God, yeah, it's
Do
like
we
a
have
market.
to go check it out? Or
I might have to go check it
I've
out.
heard
I
good
haven't been in
things.
that building for years.
But I've never been, but I heard good things.
Bro, I met Carlos Santana there.
No way.
what?
Yeah, they had Carlos Santana come speak. They've had
Whoa.
Whoa.
they
That's
had Eva Longoria go over there.
I would have been like, wow.
I didn't even I wasn't
Oh,
even, I was
no.
smoking for that one. I was having a smoke sesh, but
You
they
didn't
would
go
have
there.
powerful Chicano leaders come talk to us.
That's really cool.
Did
And,
you ever get to witness Corky?
Oh, well, I met Edward James almost there.
No way.
Wow's
Yeah.
That's cool.
powerful
I
individual.
thought it was cool. I was like, hey, that's Selena's dad. The fuck? But yeah, no, he was cool. But yeah, Corky, I remember he died like when I first started going there. Like he really passed away a while. It was a while ago. I believe it was like the first year I started going there. But he used to have a boxing ring in the basement. Like when kids would have problems, instead of fighting it out, they'd throw the gloves on them.
Really? In
And-
the basement of the school?
Yeah, because he was a boxer.
Yep.
So honestly, it was a good way to solve those type of problems.
Did you ever end up in the ring?
Nah, because that stopped before I started going there. Like
okay.
when I started going there, shit changed because some shit changed because the year before I started going there, they went on a field trip to Green River, Utah, and a kid jumped in the river and drowned.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So like some shit changed over there because of that. Like
So that was a year before you were
yeah,
going
the year before I went there. But that school was crazy because whenever we had like field trips or anything, you could tell that the funding was low because we were on the RTD for field trips. I mean, they took us on a field trip to the XL Energy plant in Commerce City. We had to literally walk like 2 miles from the bus stop
Off at
to where we were
Plaza.
going. Yeah, and they would take us to like workplaces. Like they would tell us like, yeah, this is this what kind of money you can make doing this and how you get into this. You know what I mean? Like
They
they're-
taught you how to ride the
Yeah,
RTD.
they taught me more shit than any public school ever taught me.
That's
like,
kind of
for real.
cool though, because think about it. The trades, that's kind of my line of work right now. I'm the associate dean at Emily Griffith Technical College, and before taking this role, I never thought about getting kids into welding or barbering or any of these things where there's a lot of money to be made. And they were teaching you that like right in high school, like, hey,
Yep.
if this is a path for you, you could still make a good living. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Emily's another powerful school. I love that school, and I went there. I got kicked out at North, and then when I still got my diploma from North,
Wow,
but
that's cool.
I walked with Emily members. They were from all around the city. You know what I mean? I had to pay for those classes. Luckily, I was already working at that time.
Wow.
But yeah, I walked over there. Emily was dope though. They had those barbering. Don't they have like mechanics too there?
Yeah, we have
Autos.
mechanics, welding.
They're dope, bro. That's
water
a really powerful
management.
school. I wanted to talk about Mr. Rodolfo Gonzalez.
Yeah, let's do it.
I do have an original
Wow.
print from Corky.
I had one of those too. I don't know where I had one of
My
those.
grandmother, right?
They gave those out.
Yes, I do.
They
Yeah.
gave those out like religiously to everybody over there.
Para Julie Rendon by Corky Gonzalez.
Dude, I forgot about your grandma to this moment.
Yeah.
Like she was a staple in North Denver. Like you go into the office at North High, everyone knew your grandma. Everyone knew her. They loved her. And how long was she there, bro?
I believe she was there for 17 years, 18 years.
Oh
at
my
North.
goodness.
Yeah.
And she was there up until our sophomore year, or what was the deal?
I believe it was my sophomore year, and then she started reclining, regressing. She had dementia.
Oh.
I believe it was dementia, and at that time I was already like doing my own thing. I was already trying to work. I moved out. I didn't have the best living situation. My pops was on his own grind, and I was living with my grandma at that time. You know what I mean? I was a shithead at that time too.
Where did she live on? Like 44th or
I
something?
grew up on 47th and Clay with my grandmother.
47th and Clay.
Yeah,
Man,
right up the way from you, brother.
Yep.
That's why I said it's straight down 48th from you.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was like forgetting stuff, had trouble remembering stuff and shit. And in 2013, I believe, is when she passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, she passed away from that. It took. She didn't have a funeral or anything. She was like, I don't want none of that. I don't want to have a funeral. And I'm like, fuck, Grandma, your funeral would have been fucking huge.
She was a legend, bro. Northside
we
legend.
couldn't go anywhere in Colorado without someone walking up to her and being like, Mrs. Randon, right? Miss Randon, you know? I'm like, yeah, I can't fucking go nowhere with her. We would go everywhere, bro. We'd go to the museum. We'd go to a random fucking stop in like La Jara, and someone would know her there. It was fucking wild.
Wow.
But yeah, rest in peace, Grandma. I love you. I think about you every day. But damn, that shit's it's cool. But to have the original print of Yo Soy Joaquin.
That is awesome.
And it was made, or it was given to her from Corky Gonzalez.
That's a treasure, man. You have to keep that forever. Pass it down to your kids, like
For
that
real.
type of treasure.
And it's all sitting in my drawer, all by my socks.
I had one of those, and I don't know what happened to it. Whenever I move, I end up getting rid of I'll throw a whole bin of shit.
I hate that. Yeah, I hate it.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get attached to any possessions.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's how people become hoarders.
Mm-hmm.
For real, they just have that attachment of I remember what I was thinking at that time when I got.
As long as I got some clothes, and you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, both my office at home and at work probably looks a little messy because I have some of that attachment issues.
Do you have a cluttered mind?
Very much so.
I think you're a unique specimen, brother.
Well, some people like to save stuff for memories and stuff, but like sometimes you may go through trauma. Like you don't want to save nothing from that. Like you want to forget about that.
No, for sure.
Yeah, you just want a new start.
Yeah,
Fresh.
Yeah, like I don't even want to remember this part of my life. And like there's times where I'll drive past a place and be like, oh, I fucking lived there before.
Damn.
You know, like I
Yeah.
just block it out. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you ever drive by your old spot on 44th and Decatur and just reminisce for a little bit?
Sometimes I don't like driving by there.
No,
Pisses
I know.
me
Oh,
off.
I understand.
Because it
You know
should
what I
still
mean?
be yours,
I
right?
understand.
Yeah.
I drive by my grandma's house on 47th and Clay.
That
and
shit
just
pisses me off.
Everything is so different. They got a nice garage now.
This dude actually
Fence.
picked up the motherfucker who lives in my house now
Oh,
while he
yeah.
was Ubering.
When I
No
was, I
way.
used to do Uber.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
I first started Headz Up, I quit everything
Yeah.
just to like nosedive into this business
Wow.
of being an entrepreneur. And I would do I would do Uber on the side. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like, just to pay the rent.
You got to make
pay-
the bills.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember I picked up some cat. I was like, oh, my homie used to live right here, Matt. And I was like, how long, did his resume check. How long you been here? Saying, oh, I just moved in like around this time. I'm like, that sounds about when my homie fucking got kicked out of here. He was like, who was your friend? Like, yep, this is my homie right here. And he knew exactly who you were, knew
No
who your dad
way.
was.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt was like, you should have fucked that fool up, bro.
You know what's crazy is after we moved, so like my homie lived right across the alley from me. Right after we moved, so this fool probably like remembers us because he thought we fucking broke in and stole all the copper wiring out that house.
What?
But it was this other fool I
Probably
know.
You
No,
probably
no,
were
it wasn't
junking.
me.
So
I wish
he
it was
knew who it
because
was.
I know who it was. And I didn't get no money from it.
Yeah, you're not going to say
But-
it was.
I know who it was.
Yeah, that's all you have to say. You know
It
who
is
was.
fucking
When it wa-
hilarious, and
it
I'm
wasn't
glad.
you.
I'm fucking
He's all-
glad.
Turns out their house didn't pass inspection.
Turns out their house did not pass inspection. But yeah, he was an asshole,
got
bro.
like
Like,
$15
And it's
for all the walls.
actually, I think that was a good idea because I didn't want the same thing to happen to me as the house down the street with the faulty wire.
You probably
He was-
saved in a house fire while you
he was
caused one
he was
already.
an asshole, bro. So I don't give a fuck about anything about that. That's why I was like, good. I'm glad they got that shit. I wish I would have got some money, but
I dropped him off like 4 or 5 blocks away from his destination. So
Really, he didn't want
no, I was just like, you get out right here. No,
Oh, yes.
I'm just kidding.
nah, he did it to completion. No.
I took him to the door, escorted him. All thanks, brother, because he's a real piece of work.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm glad you got that
You got 6
fucking
stars
monster
for that
out of the
ride.
neighborhood, man. Got that monster out of the neighborhood. But yeah, that dude was an asshole. So.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's still there. That sucks.
Hey, I got to meet my colonizers in my family line, and I got to meet his colonizer gentrifier.
Yeah, he got to meet my gentrifier. Like, that's wild as fuck.
Bro, that is wild to think about that.
Yeah.
Shoot, lucky it wasn't you, though, because as you said, you probably would have popped him one.
Yeah, right. He'd probably been crying. He'd be like,
I wouldn't have picked his ass up.
This is my house.
I wouldn't have picked his ass up.
It says 44. What is it?
4407?
07.
I would have seen the address right away and been like, I ain't picking this motherfucker up.
Next.
Cancel.
Let him walk. Actually, I'm going to drive by to run his ass over.
Or you could have took him someplace weird, like dropped him off at jail.
Drop him off at, like, the men's bathhouse.
He's like, this is where I was coming already. So,
He's like, yeah, I guess, yeah. That's where I was
Right
coming after.
well, that's pretty not okay to say. Just kidding. But that was a weird predicament because when I told you, I was like, yeah, I picked up some guy. And he was like, bro, you literally picked up the fucking guy.
I was like, you should have brought him to me.
You want to go talk to the bro? He's like ready to talk.
Yeah. Nah, he was a dick, though. You could tell that smugness about him.
Yeah, he seemed very smug.
He
And that's
was.
why we're not like talking shit. He was just very smug.
That's because he got that house probably for like $130,000 cash,
Yeah.
and now it's
I
worth
was-
about $600.
Well,
Yeah.
we could look. You
I was
know,
just
show you guys how to access the property records on Denver Gov. We could do that.
I want to look at my old home.
Yep.
My grandma's
It'll
home.
show the chain of title, how many times it sold, and for what it has sold for.
Public record is
Very,
a motherfucker.
very easy to
Yeah.
look that up.
I know when we bought it was like 70 grand.
I'll do it for you right now. So give me about 10 seconds as we're thinking of our next
4773.
song. Okay.
Yeah, 4773
Clay?
Clay Street. That's where I grew up. 440507 Decatur. They're gonna run your public records and find you, Matt. They're gonna find you.
Oh, fuck. You know you can. You could literally just search somebody's name and find like their address and shit.
Yeah.
Especially if they're like a registered voter.
Yeah, you can find their
I'm a registered
birth
voter.
date,
Bro, you
all
could
that.
find anything. That show Catfish showed motherfuckers how to do shit like that.
Oh my gosh.
That fool was just, yeah. Now
Yeah.
now people
I
could
like-
search your phone number. And that's what I do when the phone number calls me that I don't know.
Yeah, I do the same
I
thing.
fucking do a reverse phone number search on it, like Catfish,
So 4407,
Decatur,
and
yeah.
we'll do Clay next.
Okay.
Okay, I already have it up. We'll do the chain of title, and this will tell us how many times it sold and what it sold for.
Speak up on the mic.
So, was that right about when you moved out, or when? Did you-
2011, yeah. Sounds about right. Garcia, oh my God.
Oh my
So you
gosh.
could go ahead
That's
and look at
what-
all that data
damn.
right there.
Read it out loud.
That's my
brother.
pops.
Don't read the names or any sensitive information.
I'll read the other motherfucker's name.
No, don't do that.
So-
definitely. Don't read his name.
We bought it from a Susie for $62,000 in 1994.
62,000.
62,000 in
that?
My car is
1994.
worth that.
Right? Exactly.
Holy shit.
Can't buy anything.
The
Can't even buy a
dude-
trailer home for that these
No.
days.
The dude that bought it from us bought it for $231, and
That's
it's probably
it?
worth about $600 now.
Oh yeah, you look up Zillow, it'll tell
That
you.
was in 2012.
Man.
Damn.
Damn,
wild.
that's wild as fuck. I can't believe you can look that shit up. JCC Lending Incorporated is the took over on our shit.
That foreclosed.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
God damn, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you just literally Google. Google's your best tool. Then
Yes.
Google Denver property records, and then it'll take you to the link on the Denver City and County
That's
website.
crazy.
So now we'll do the Clay.
62,000.
That is wild.
I basically paid that for a ZL1.
You did.
Yeah.
He got a Camaro that was worth that much.
No way.
It was nasty as fuck.
So you don't have it anymore.
I don't. I got an Impala
He sold
Wow.
on some 20s.
Rage,
They
what is
20s.
this-
So
what
I
is
keep
this
them
next
clean.
address?
No.
it. 4773 Clay Street.
4773, and you have to type in the N for north, but I think we're okay with that.
Yep, capital N. No, yeah, I had to get rid of that thing. It costed way too much money. I was spending like $300 a month on gas. I was getting 8 miles a gallon.
Holy moly. Guacamole.
73.
Yeah, 4773 Clay Street.
Here you go, buddy. You could look it up and share what you want. This is a chain of title
My
right
grandmother
now.
had the home for a good while. Let's
That's
see.
crazy. You see what they paid for it.
Damn, they just sold it again just
Really?
recently. So 1986. $0 was the sale price.
What?
If it does it say what's a code next to it? Does it say QC or something like that?
No, there is no code. It just says instrument was WD.
Okay, that's a WD because all those things are they mean something. WD, I do not know what that something deed. WD.
Okay, and then when
Was the house left to her?
whoa, well, my grandma. So there was another family that bought it back in 2000.
So if the house was left to her, that would be DC for a death certificate. Like if
Oh,
someone
okay.
died, or a quit claim. So a QC.
So yeah, so when my the family before me bought it for 127,000, and when my grandmother purchased the home, it was 80,000 back in March 24th of 2011, 80,000. And then EFS Capital LLC bought it for 189, and now the most recent purchase,
500 what?
most recent purchase, May 28th of 2021, was $570,000.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
And your grandma paid
You know
how
what?
much for it?
The
80,000.
the worst thing is now I could totally believe that.
Yeah.
It's fucked up because 20 years ago, a person in our position would have just been able to buy a house.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't take two incomes of $60,000 a year to be able to buy a house. It would take one income of $35,000 a year
Yeah.
to buy a house.
And you know what's
80,000.
fucked up is my family was so behind in like debt and all
Same.
that shit. And that's why
62,000 for our house. How do we lose it in 2011?
the rate of the cost of living for
Yep.
sure.
Those goddamn arms fucking
It's the
mortgages.
Yes.
it's the banks coming in to refinance.
Yep, and then
refinancing at you'll get a lower interest rate and you'll be able to get some cash and put in your pocket, and that's what we did.
And then they don't want to break you off with a proper loan.
Yeah, they
to
didn't
like help you.
they didn't explain the adjustable rate mortgage because to your dad and mom, they're like, oh shit, I'll have more money in my pocket. But wait up, it's going to adjust in a year or two and you're going to have less money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because of these systems of oppression that were created from public schools and thereon after that we didn't ask these questions. We're just like, all right, that sounds good to me.
We're-
I feel like when
just unaware,
and you know what's
yeah.
crazy? The people that we refinance through were like going door to door type shit
I've chased
to
motherfuckers
refinance.
off the block for that.
I don't
Everything love.
think that we actively seek these motherfuckers out to refinance. I'm pretty sure it was like on a door to door type shit.
No, they
knew what the fuck they were doing.
coming door to door back in the day. And I remember one individual coming up to our door and saying, "Hey, I'll buy your home for $1 million cash," type shit. And we chase that motherfucker off the block, like, bro, you get your face crushed for some dumb shit like that. Like, we know who you are. We know these snake activities.
You see, I think my parents didn't know that.
We buy junk homes. Remember all those signs that you would see all around the
You still
town?
see 'em.
Yeah, rip those motherfuckers down every chance you can.
Yep.
And what can we do to help these homeowners? I wish there was like a community outreach.
Honestly,
like, hey,
there's
let's
nothing
all-
we can do but
There is something. we
should
can
tell
do.
people that these are the tactics that are being used. Be careful.
Now
Yeah.
they know.
I think now it's even
yeah.
worse because now the prices of homes are so like astronomical, and the what you're making a year isn't.
Yeah.
So they're putting you in an insurmountable debt.
Yeah.
And
You buy a
that's-
house for $500,000 and you only make $80,000 a year. You're in insurmountable debt.
Absolutely. And that's, we talked about it earlier, why so many people want to live in the north side. Because think about when you're in the north side. Let's say we're right at Chubby's, right? You're very close to downtown Denver, and that's where a lot of these motherfuckers work. You're very close to all the sports stadiums, whether you want to go see the Rockies or you want to go see the Broncos or you want to go see the Nuggets kick some ass. You're very close to all of the theaters and shit downtown. Versus like if you're out like up in Brighton or even Westminster, it's far for you.
Yeah.
So these people want to be close to where the action is, where they work.
Yeah.
And our land, we didn't even know how valuable it was to us until they started stealing it from us and then saying now it's
the
worth
days of-
500,000.
Since the days of the Arapahoes and the Cheyenne.
Exactly.
That's why they built the fucking downtown right by the confluence.
Exactly.
And you know who wasn't really allowed to live in Denver but actually worked in Denver?
No.
Why do you think blacks live in Aurora?
Oh yeah.
They weren't really allowed to live in Denver.
Yeah, they had 5 points, and that was it. And then Park Hill for a little bit, but then after that, it was Aurora.
I feel like way before that though, Denver was a gold rush state. So
Yeah, there was.
I feel like it was
mining that happened here. There was gold. Like what is it called? When they look for gold panning and
Gold
shit like
panning,
that,
yep.
right in the confluence.
Yeah, right
All
there.
that gold has been taken out and used for their success.
Yep. Yeah, who do you think was finding the gold? It wasn't the black people or the Native Americans.
What Native Americans were using?
Yeah,
gold.
they found the gold.
Yeah,
But who kept
But
it?
it
who-
wasn't used as
who-
a capitalistic.
Yeah, who started mining the gold in mass?
Yeah,
Like it wasn't any of them people.
that's what they did with the Tainos or the Tainos. You know, we were talking about this earlier. You know what I forgot what like the direct. So I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but the direct definition of Yucatan is
No.
when the Spaniards came over and they got to like the Mayans, they were like, "Oh, who are you? Like, what are you guys? You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck are you?" They were like, "Yucatan, Yucatan." So they named that whole city, civilization, country, the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah.
That literally means I don't know what you're saying.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
That's what was told to me, and that's what I
Yeah.
just recently found out.
Yeah.
And you know about like the Tainos, where so when Columbus first got to the Americas
In Puerto Rico, right?
Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
which was the Boricuas or Boricuans. That's a real name for them.
Okay.
That's why they call themselves Boricuas. But they were the Arawak. When they were like, "Who are you guys?" They were like, "Taino." That's literally when they say that. It's like we're good. That's what that mean. That word means is we're good.
And so they
So
just named them that.
Just named them that, and then they renamed their whole country after that to Hispaniola.
Well, I mean, they still call us Indians.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're Indian for.
Have you ever
hundreds of
seen
years later.
Idiocracy?
Of course,
no,
yeah.
The movie Idiocracy. So he goes to the future and everybody's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
So
they're like-
they're trying to like give him like an identity or like and they're asking like it's a machine. It's like asking questions and he says not sure, and that ends up being his name.
Oh, that makes
Because-
perfect sense.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, okay, like it didn't understand.
Yeah.
That's basically what that is. Like,
Yeah. It kind of feels like we're pushing towards that, right, in society.
Oh my God! Did you watch Don't Look Up?
yeah,
Yeah.
I did
Oh
watch
my God, that
that
was a beautiful movie. but-
because for like I feel like that's how it would be if there was a
That's what
fucking
Jonah Hill-
meteor.
Jonah
yeah,
Hill,
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci,
Da Vinci.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, I remember
Da
that one.
Vinci was in it.
Yeah, that's crazy though because I feel like that's how it would go if there ever was a fucking meteor coming at
Oh
us.
my
Like
God.
they wouldn't be telling us, and then the news people be like, oh, ha, ha, like
I mean, we don't need a meteor. We already do that shit when we're just talking about public school systems,
Yeah.
like how we could fix our country and fix our child's education, and it's still fucking happening. People are worried about money. They're worried about their politics. They're worried about their position in power. That's it. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's the classic have-nots versus the haves, and the haves always want to keep what they have. Always. Always.
I mean they can still keep what they have, but why do they need more?
They don't want to share, man. It's greed. Think about it.
Why can't they
then-
just fuck off already?
Yeah, and
That's
then
what I say.
It goes to Cesar Chavez when
Excuse my language.
what did you say? I'll make it clear. It goes to Cesar Chavez or like a lot of the Mexican American civil rights members. They were labeled as communists when they weren't trying to push a communist agenda. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they would say that like Cesar Chavez was like into Marxist ideas,
yeah,
like ideology,
Cesar
like
Chavez,
communism.
you always hear that shit about
Just because of
from
power
Alemán.
to the people, you know, you would think you would associate that with like communism, but why put a label on it? Why can't we just be fucking nice to each other?
Why can't we
Yeah.
just be? We're all the whole thing was about was just pushing a fucking equal agenda. We fight for our equality. That's why they were trying to unionize back in the day to just have a fair share. Water. Fuck, can we eat?
Well, why
Yeah.
does anybody need $900 billion though?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you be cool with like 5 billion? Why do you need $900 billion? It doesn't make no sense to me. Like that's like a mental.
Remember how?
That's like a mental thing. Like, oh, I gotta have it all. Like,
remember the
bro, no, you don't.
Remember
You
just
literally don't.
understanding how much a billion is.
Yeah.
How long would it take to count to a million? Isn't it like a week?
wow.
and then to count to 1 billion is like 32 years.
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, that's how big 1 billion is compared
Wow.
to 1,000,000. And
That's
to have like
crazy.
900 billion, like you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you need that
You'll
for?
never in your life spend that
No,
much.
yeah, no one needs that. That's why a lot of philanthropists give it away. But the thing is, our system, to your
They're
point,
giving
Matt,
it away, but I feel like a lot of philanthropists are giving it away not for motivation in helping, but motivation in helping their own tax
Yeah,
situation
without a doubt.
and helping people that they know, giving to foundations of people that they know
Yeah.
that aren't going to people.
All we can say is we thank Bill Gates.
Yeah,
his
I mean,
wife, who's his, let's put some respect on her name.
His ex-wife.
Ex-wife. What was her name?
Melinda.
Melinda Gates and Bill Gates. Thank you for helping our brother here. But
And it's crazy 'cause
also,
there's
you
so
worked
many
like
people-
a motherfucker for that. You weren't just a kid off the block. who
there's so
did
many
it.
people that think Bill Gates and them are like bad people. Like, you know what I mean?
I would just say it's capitalism in general, right? So in a capitalist society, it's set up for gains in that way. And if you have the resources and the privilege and the tools to do that, and I'm not saying that's right, but that's the system we live in. So in order to push back on that, we all need to think of how we as the working class and middle class could totally upend that system, because it doesn't work unless we are actually in it, doing all the labor, driving the trucks, doing all these things that make the machine go round.
That's why they're trying to build robots to replace us,
Yeah, that's a good point.
you know, because one day
'Cause
we
we're
are
getting-
going to,
we're
yeah,
getting onto it.
yeah, we're
So-
getting educated.
There's going to be a time when
That's a good
we
point.
don't need teachers and we don't need administrators because we have ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That
Right now
AI.
is the dumbest it's ever going to be. You know what I mean? And there's going to be, without any biases, there's going to be fucking a computer at the front of the class, and it's going to be teaching a whole curriculum without a bias. Hopefully without a bias.
Yeah, hopefully that's
Hopefully
the point.
without-
Hey,
bias.
whoever's programming
Yeah, whoever
it, though,
programmed
can
it.
put a bias in it.
They
like,
really can. How they're all, we'll just keep them.
keep a little bit of
slaves.
racism in there,
Yeah.
sprinkle a little bit of racism.
Yeah, let's not talk about the indigenous people. Let's just talk about
Oh, yeah.
Columbus, or let's
Yes,
just talk about
yes.
George Washington. Not to mention, that most of our founding fathers had slaves. Let's just talk about how great they were.
Andrew Jackson had fucking. Even Abraham Lincoln. Abraham
Lincoln had just finished slaughtering a lot of Native
30
Americans before he signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Abraham Lincoln has.
Like 5 days before, I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
Yes.
Wow.
Abraham Lincoln. Do you know about this?
I don't.
Abraham
Yeah,
Lincoln
just
has
listen.
the biggest record for Native men lynchings.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 33 Nakota or Dakota men who were lynched at once.
Wow.
In one lynching, they were all hung. And then he signed the fucking proclamation.
Like five days after they like raided a camp and killed a bunch of Native Americans, like 5 days after that, I'm pretty sure he signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Wow.
So while he's freeing these, and I wouldn't even say that what he did even freed them, because it was a few years before they even realized they were free. So like
During those
Abe
times-
Lincoln, sure, he signed that shit, but he also did some horrible things.
Yeah, during those times, the blacks were getting their rights as human beings, for sure. But natives were not. They were still being heavily hunted and murdered and lynched and put into slavery during these same fucking times. We weren't allowed to vote until when? Native Americans weren't allowed to vote until like 19...
Until they were able to have a proper address or something. It was all about like they didn't have an address because they were sovereign, so they couldn't vote. I believe that in some reservations, correct me if I'm wrong, that they still can't vote
That wouldn't surprise me.
because you're not
That's
you're
surprising.
not a citizen of the United States. You're a sovereign citizen.
I heard stories of my homies who lived on the reses around America, and just companies, liquor store companies, or like beer companies
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit
I've
like
heard
that.
this too.
Yeah.
Would just, you guys want some free beer and liquor? Like, we'll hook you up. Like, just
That's where
drop
the
off
stereotype
places.
comes from, that Native Americans, Indians are big drunks. It wasn't because they didn't make that shit.
Yeah.
They got that shit from somewhere. It was pushed on them.
Yeah, and then they got hooked.
And they
it's the
got hooked.
epidemic.
Yep.
We
And
talk
then-
about the alcohol epidemic like we should be talking, or we talk about the crack epidemic that hit the streets in minority communities, but we should also be talking about the alcohol epidemic
Oh, for
that
sure.
hit the reses and our minority communities.
Yeah, think about the North Side when we were kids, right? Some of those liquor stores are still there, not all of them, but some of them are still there. And there are more liquor stores back in the day, still to this day, than there were, McDonald's. And McDonald's all over the place.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, liquor store in every freaking corner. And don't get me wrong, I love a good shot of tequila or a nice scotch. But they're purposefully, those type of things disproportionately affect people that look like the three of us.
Mm-hmm. You go to other neighborhoods. You go on the Highlands Ranch. You go on Cherry Creek. You don't see that many liquor stores.
No, it's like one big giant
You see
ass
one,
liquor store.
yeah.
and
You
that's
see
it.
one.
It's like a
liquor
Argonaut.
warehouse.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
one
see a
big
Molly's
Molly's
or
and that's
something.
it.
Yeah.
Molly's is actually pretty tight.
I like
Molly's is.
yeah.
I go there too.
Yeah,
But
I'm a
There's
fan.
not
But there's also the
family-owned
little
liquor
ones.
store,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
also the little ones. There's tons of
you
shit
have to
here.
drive to it. Like I gotta hit
Mm-hmm.
Argonaut, I gotta hit the lick.
And
It's
it'll be
right
by
on the
like
corner.
Costco.
walk, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it'll be by somewhere that they're already at, like
Yeah.
a Costco.
How many liquor stores? Let's count them. There's one over here. We can't say where I'm at, but there's
Yeah.
one down the street.
Yep.
There's one right up here.
One right up the street.
There's one-
down the street. this
Literally, if
way.
you could walk,
There's
you could
probably,
walk
like-
the same distance in each direction and find one in
Yeah.
like 4
You
minutes.
could walk 5 minutes
Yeah.
in any direction and come across
I
it.
think if you're
Mm-hmm.
on Federal, it's just like one after another.
Yeah.
Starting at the stadium.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I grew up on 44th and Decatur, so
Let's do-
there
let's
was the
do-
one
let's
right
do
up on
Federal.
44th. There was the one at Camargo's
Yeah.
on Clay or
Yes,
was
yes.
Zunai, right?
Yes, that's Zuna. I love Camargos.
Yeah,
That used to
Camargo's
be the
is
joint. Get a
great.
Camargo special, and then go over there and get some beers.
And
Yep.
get you some boots.
Get some boots from
boots.
Camargos.
No, like I grew up in that neighborhood, so they knew. Like I used to go in those liquor stores and buy lick when I was like 15, 16.
Wow.
They knew my mom. Like my mom would go and get it for me, so they were like,
You got that Mad Dog back then.
yeah, that Mad Dog. I drank Old English.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was an old English drinker or
Yeah.
Mickey's.
Oh,
OE
When I was
800.
young.
Mickey's. Yeah, I remember everyone was drinking Mickey's.
The drive-up liquor
Or some
store.
King
I used to
Cobra.
go to that one too on Tejon.
Yeah, it's still there.
That one's still there. The same dude still works there.
Yes.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The one on 44th?
Mm-hmm. 46th and Tejon.
46th and Tejon.
Same-
yeah,
same
right
dude
by
still
where
works there.
Tilly's was.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember that used to be like a store?
Yeah, I remember that. Because my grandma used to take me there to buy like cheese. She bought some weird cheese that we would put sugar on and eat it. I remember going into that grocery store.
Interesting.
Getting that
Damn,
cheese.
That's cool to hear. That you've been in the hood like for a long ass time. You were like, oh, this. Let's not talk about where I live. but
yeah.
Y'all remember
This
the
location,
commodities?
Yes, like commodity cheese and shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was
government cheese?
asking.
Yeah.
Arena and
I
all
was like
that?
asking my grandma like where that place was because I can't put my finger
thought
on
you
where
were
it
talking about
was. The commodities.
Oh, no, I don't know.
It was a place where like if you grew up on welfare, like Section 8, you would go to a spot. It was like a
We
commissary.
would just get ours from like
So
there
it
was
was like-
a little church right there off of 32nd and
There was like a big place. I forget
Zuma.
where it was.
So it was like a government food bank.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
it was.
shit.
No,
Go
it
get
was
us
like a
from
huge
church.
store. You would go in. You could get like you would be able to get books on your food stamps.
No
It was
shit.
back when food stamps were the actual coupons.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Do you guys remember Keebler?
yeah,
yes,
Keebler.
Yeah, I wrote a
Yes.
poem about Keebler.
Yeah, the smell.
The
oh,
smell.
man.
I can still remember the smell.
The smell of Keebler factory or the Keebler factory filling the hood when there were no screens, just pure connections all on foot.
Oh, man.
I remember that.
Yeah, I just. Yeah, that was.
I
I,
think my
remember
cousin
that
used
a
to
long
work
time
there.
ago.
That's cool.
And they turned it into a Family Dollar.
They were a save a lot for a good while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And they
save
were
a lot.
Colorado Market.
That was that was my Safeway when I grew up.
Yes, yes.
That was an old school Safeway because
Yes.
these ones are all nice now
They
with
were
the
all broken tile.
Starbucks and
Remember
yeah,
the broken tile and shit.
Yeah.
yeah, that was old school Safeway.
Damn, it was a Safeway.
Yep.
I forgot about that. The Keebler factory was a big one though because
Dude, the
you used to-
Kmart on 50th.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes.
Kmart.
you used to smell the Keebler factory and then be like, "Ooh, we're back in the north side." And then you keep going down.
Well, first you
I-70, and
then you would smell the dog food.
Oh, we're back in Swansea.
Oh man, yeah. That smells tough.
The 50th and
I mean, you still smell the dog food. That shit still
To
exists.
this day.
to this day it reminds me of hamburgers.
Bro,
though,
my uncle,
way.
Mall.
my uncle says it smells like fried chicken.
You know,
I'm like, bro, that smells like dog food. What kind of fucking fried chicken you eating?
this was, before I was with Samantha, I was dating a girl a long time ago. It has to be like 15 years ago. And we were driving by. She's like, oh, it smells like carnitas. I
Carnitas?
almost threw up.
Oh man,
Yo,
almost threw
get
up.
out on
Yeah,
I-70.
like,
who the fuck kind of
Tuck and roll.
carnitas?
Yeah, what are you eating?
Some carnitas.
She must have been hungry.
The 50th, the 50th and Federal Kmart. I miss those days.
Yes.
I made a post about it a while back, but I miss the tamale lady.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
walking around.
Bro, her tamales were like, they're the fattest that I've ever had in my life. They were like this big.
I guarantee
remember.
your grandma probably took you there at least once a month.
We
Because
used
I
to
know my
always
Bro,
grandma
I was
would
there
always-
like all the time, bro.
You'd go out with your groceries and your shit that you bought at Kmart, and she'd be like, tamales, tamales. And, fuck yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember you.
She was there like
kinda-
every day, like for
Yeah.
real.
And then they were probably like $5 a dozen
Yes,
back then.
yes.
That's the deal.
Now everyone's running like $25
Yeah.
for a dozen.
Yeah.
Y'all need to lower the motherfucking prices on the dozen. They're expensive nowadays. I
They
understand
are.
it takes fucking forever to make them.
They ain't that hard to make, bro.
It takes long.
It
It's
takes
not
a while,
hard to
but they're
make
not
them.
that hard to
But
make.
It's inflation. Everyone's trying to.
Even when people are like,
It's a
they say
hustle, baby.
tortillas are hard to make. It's literally like 3 fucking ingredients.
Yeah,
They're not
exactly.
hard to make. You can make tortillas like any day.
I've never learned how to make I know how to make it. I just never tried. But I want to make horchata homemade. It's easy. It's
Ooh.
super easy to make. But I've never done it.
I've never been into horchata. It was too sweet for me.
That'd be cool to learn how to make though.
Fucking the
fuck with
chubbies
them,
on
you know?
72nd
like-
always used to have ants in their horchata.
Oh my
The
god.
chubbies.
I swear to
Hey,
God, the one on
we talked about that.
72nd.
Do you guys remember going to Chubby's on 38th and getting the strawberry drink? The strawberry soda. It was like a special, because they had it was right fucking there, but they had the strawberry, and that was bomb.
Damn, I don't
Remember they
remember
had the
that.
little vending, or not the vending machine, the drink right there by the cashier's register.
Yes, exactly.
She'd just be like, don't be putting too much ice.
Man, I miss that place. I
Me
really
too.
do. Because
Every-
that was like authentic Northside, right? You go and you fucking wait.
You had to be crushed in there with a bunch of people. Like,
Yeah.
And they still seem to be faster than the brand new Chubbies today.
yeah, they take forever,
That's
bro.
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. That is very true. The first thing you would say,
You would think they upgraded their whole spot and their kitchen. You would think the food would come out faster.
it's just supply and demand.
It super duper doesn't.
The first thing you would say when you'd get into Chubby's is, "You guys in line? Did you order yet?"
Yeah.
Right, no, I'm just standing here with everybody else.
I got my number, bro. You're
I
right.
got it over, bro. And then you know what the notorious thing about fucking Chubby's is 714. They're like, fucking hey. And then the guy's all sitting there all, get your fucking order. We're all waiting.
Yeah, hurry up.
I've been that guy too, though. You ever be that guy?
714.
Man, one of my earliest memories is going into Chubby's with my mom, and I asked her. I was like 4 years old. I was like, "Are we gonna eat here, Mom?" And she almost slapped the shit out of me. She's like,
here?
"We don't eat here. Are you crazy?"
They had little stools where you could
Yeah,
sit and eat.
the stools, right, that's what
Have
I
you
thought.
sat there? Have you,
I
used to
actually
sit
did
there.
eat
No
there
way.
before. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Right
I
on the
sat
little
there.
counter.
I sat outside. I went one time. I went with a
Little
group of
concrete
homies. I went
chair.
one time with a group of homies, and one of my homies got beat up while we were there. And we got our food, sat outside, and we ate while he had a black eye.
Shit, they're all happy still.
Oh yeah,
It was worth it.
it was normal to fucking
Catch a
basically
fade.
almost get into a fight at Chubby's just because motherfuckers would be stepping on your shoe. And,
Yes, a lot of theirs has been some homicides at Chubby's.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate, but fuck. Chubby's
definitely
Chubby's
people
was
used to
wild
get
back
socked the fuck up for sure.
then. Yes.
I've
And then
seen
Chavez
it.
would be sitting in the back. Remember?
Yep.
He'd be
Chavez,
like-
yeah, it's funny.
be
Chavez
sitting-
be over there too.
I tell Chavez, hold up, you're gonna have to get out the way. I want these homie stickers.
Yeah,
he would hold up,
homies.
he would hold up the vending machine. You're all back up, bro.
Yeah.
Let
I
me get some
remember that.
homies.
You guys ever went to the drive-in back in the day?
Yeah,
The
of
one
course.
on 88th?
Yeah, I was just there last year. I can't remember what double feature Samantha and I saw, but a cool old school place.
Yeah, right there off 88th. They're getting ready to close that
88.
place
Yeah,
down.
they're getting ready to shut down and turn it into
Apartments.
warehouses.
I thought they were going to turn it into
No, they were
apartments.
turning it into
Warehouse.
multi-use warehouses. That's all that's in that area now. But
Yeah. Another Amazon. Or
yeah, I
FedEx
remember
type
going
shit.
there and
Yep.
sneaking in my auntie, have her lay on the floor of the van and put a blanket over. to save like $4. But yeah, we went and saw like hella movies there. Like so many times I just fall asleep in the van, or you know what I mean.
I remember going back in the day. I haven't been like really recently. But I remember sneaking in my dad's old ass truck or car, and those were the days when you could just hop in the trunk from the back seat, and me and my brother would go sit in there, and we'd be all. It's like not even that expensive to get in there, but then we'd pull up to our parking spot, and then everybody would get out. There's like 6 more people in there. What the fuck?
Yep.
But do you remember the heavy ass speakers that you would put on the inside of your windows?
Old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I remember. Like
You had to walk up to the concession and get some popcorn.
You had to walk up to it.
Yeah.
They had the hooks on the window, and that shit would be like, I hope that you roll it up a little bit, hold it in there.
No,
just hope
we
didn't
had it
break
to
your
where you
window.
could tune into the radio.
Yeah.
You could tune in on the radio station and listen to it. My dad always had loud ass system. So he'd turn that shit on like surround sound. The whole shit would be
They're all feeling your dad's bass.
feeling
Oh,
the
this shit
bass.
is real.
Yeah, that shit was tight. The driving's cool. It's crazy. It's the last one, and now it's gonna be gone.
Yeah, after this one's
Last
gone,
one?
they were saying that,
Yeah, it's like the last one.
the most nearest one is up in Longmont or Fort Collins or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still worth it to go if you've never taken your kids to a drive-in, or if you've never been to a drive-in
When's
theater.
the plan, like, for them to shut it down, like the last day? Do
I
they
think
have a date?
this is last season or some shit.
Yeah, they don't have a date yet because the owners are still trying to, negotiate who they're selling it to, all that stuff. They want to get the best price. But
Yeah, it's gonna be a
it'll
warehouse.
Why though? Why are they shutting it down?
They
Just want more money?
Well, that family has been running it for so long, they're ready to retire.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. Well, someone else come in, a cousin or
Yeah.
I think the
Fuck.
problem is the property's already been zoned for warehouse.
Yep.
That whole area kind of has been. It's just
Zoning
all
fucking-
warehouses.
And the one thing that sucks though, like right behind the screen, is because of the warehouses, it's all lit up. So it's not like pitch black like probably when we
Like
were
how it used to
kids.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it used to be packed. Like there'd be a line
Yes.
to get in, and like the concessions were packed. There'd be a line for the bathroom. I remember back in the day, people just used to be out.
Yeah.
And now there's more people, and nobody's ever out. Everybody's just in the house, bro. Like nobody goes out and does shit.
People commuting to get the fuck home. There's
That's
a
it.
lot of them.
Yep, that's it.
I can't drive down the side streets where I live without. I'd seen a sick ass car accident right here on the side street. I'm like,
Wow.
how are you driving that fucking fast, bro? Look, bro,
Yeah.
the car was like demolished, like on a highway, and it was
Mm-hmm.
just
That's
right,
crazy.
bro. But yeah, I don't know. No one's out, but everyone's commuting home.
Ooh, there's
I
more
re-
people now, and there's no sense of community in the communities because nobody's out doing shit. I remember all the kids on the block would be playing together.
Yeah, they'd be at the park or the swimming pool. I used to
play with
swimming pool
every
as a
kid on my block, and then we all got pushed out the neighborhood. Like
I miss the Blockbuster days.
Blockbuster was
yeah.
cool too.
There
Yeah,
used to be that Blockbuster.
that's
right
their
there.
dumbass fault because I believe they had a chance to buy Netflix or some shit way back
It
in the
was
day,
Redbox who put them under.
and they were like,
wasn't
Wow.
it?
Nah, it was
streaming,
Netflix who put 'em under.
Redbox was part of it for sure,
Yeah.
but streaming, yeah.
That makes sense.
Netflix.
Netflix put them under.
And now look at Redbox.
Yeah.
Who the fuck has a DVD player? You got a DVD player?
Well, everybody's got like an Xbox or something. I got a DVD player
Yeah,
too.
but I
I
don't
got
use
kids.
Yeah. Your babies.
Kids like, yeah, I got
You know,
a lot of movies on
another
DVD for kids.
Another staple of our community got shut down or is closing down. Fucking Alvis Theaters.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They're
it's a new theater now. It's
it
called
really?
Sonora Cinemas.
Yeah.
It's still a theater.
Okay.
They
But
didn't
it-
like
The
get rid of
family
it.
shut it down.
But it
Yeah.
has captions at the bottom, and honestly, I'm a little bit biased.
For real,
against
has captions?
Yeah, because it's a Latino theater, so they were actually out in Aurora,
They're like, oh, these fools
off
can't
of
hear.
Quebec, and so they put like if it's a American movie, they'll
Oh,
have-
they put Spanish
yeah.
subtitles. Okay.
Or if it's a Latino movie, they'll have American subtitles.
I'm
And
with that.
honestly, I get distracted though if I see subtitles in any movie. That's all I look at. I don't look at the rest.
I'm a weirdo and I love watching movies with
I
subtitles.
don't really like subtitles that much either.
I get
love it.
distracted.
I love it.
Samantha's the same way. She loves it. So you got to check it out.
Yeah, reason being is because I'll watch a movie and sometimes I'll be like, wait, what did they say? Like in the background, there's shit that they add in the subtitles that you can't hear in the background. You're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck! Oh, that makes more sense. You know what I mean? It just helps me follow the story a little bit better. Just say you can't read, man. Fuck.
Well, we could go there, guys, and we could better practice our Spanish because they'll have the American movie with the Spanish subtitles.
Yes, I've been actually.
Yeah, because I went to the little Gen X to get some shirts like last week, and I was like, oh, they closed down Elvis, blah blah blah, and we drove by, and I was like, what? It's just another theater.
Yeah, they have the sign up and everything.
Yeah,
it's right. It's already
totally.
up.
I think it's called Sonora Cinemas or something.
I want to go check it out.
I'd check it out. They're showing the Fast and the Furious movie over there now.
That boring ass movie. It's all
Bro,
Spanish.
how is that boring though? It's like super exciting because they just do dumbass, stupid shit. Everybody's just like, oh, it's stupid. Like, bro,
I'm just not an action guy movie.
I'm not a movie guy, period. But like Fast and the Furious, you don't like cars, motherfucker?
Well, it's just
do.
it's
You don't
the
like
same
The Rock?
thing over and over again.
It's just monotonous.
I know.
Yeah.
What's your favorite type of movie?
That's a good question. I would say like an independent movie. Like one of my favorite movies is Adventureland. Have you guys ever seen that?
I've seen it. It's with the little kid from the
Facebook.
Yeah, from the social.
Yeah, social media movie.
Yeah,
Basically, he spends the summer at like a lakeside type park working, trying to get ready for grad school.
Yes, I've seen
Yeah,
it.
so I like movies like that, you know?
Okay.
It's like kind of nerdy.
Okay. That makes sense. What type is it though? Like, what's the genre of that movie rather than independent?
I would just say like drama, right?
Dramas. I'm
Yeah.
more of a drama suspense guy. Mystery.
Suspense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like horror. I don't like action. Some action's cool. It has to have a really good story though.
Yeah.
Like Ip Man. You ever seen Ip Man?
No.
It's about like the grandmaster who trained Bruce Lee.
Oh,
and
wow.
everything that happened.
You never like Rush Hour?
Oh, I love Rush Hour.
Yeah.
It has a good story. And
Yeah.
it's funny. They have good fight scenes. Good
I think they're making
choreography.
a new one.
Yeah, they
I
are.
know. Jackie Chan's a beast. He's like 972 years old.
And he still does all of his own stunts.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
That's
He
wild.
could probably come up in here and whoop all three of us.
Oh, without a doubt.
Not in a phone booth.
Not in the phone. Put me in a phone booth
Not
with him.
Matt in the phone booth. Matt had just fucked off with us.
Just don't let me get a hold of him. Tell you that.
As long as it has a really good story. Like, what's a really good movie you watched recently? You watched any good ones lately? I
Can't really say that I have.
I know one movie that I'm anticipating like a motherfucker. It's called The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
What is that about?
It's about Dracula.
Oh,
So
really?
like, yeah, for anybody who's watching, one of my like secret passions and love is Dracula. The story of Dracula.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker, he wrote that shit in like the 1800s. Yeah, they're making the whole movie about his voyage from the Carpathians to Europe, I believe, and he was on the Demeter, and he tears that whole fucking crew up, like the whole
Wow.
ship up. It's dumb. He's all looking at me like, shut the fuck up.
So when is that coming out?
I don't know. Hopefully, I think in August.
Okay.
It's a sick ass movie. It's supposed to be like the scariest adaptation of the Dracula story.
Wow.
I love Dracula. He's a real
That's
person.
not the one with Nicolas Cage, right? Isn't he in some like new vampire movie that's coming out?
Oh, I hope so. Oh,
Okay.
That sounds interesting too. Fuck. Is it Nicolas Cage the one who's in he's all gone in 60 seconds?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking of Bruce Willis. My bad.
I think he is in Gone.
No,
in
he isn't
60
gone in
Seconds.
60 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Bruce Willis
Oh.
from the other one. What's the one? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's
Can't even
what
remember
is
that
it?
movie.
Yeah, everyone says it's a Christmas movie because
Yeah, I
it
know.
happens at
Die
Christmas.
Hard?
Yeah,
Die
there you
Hard,
go.
yeah. Yeah, Die Hard 1, he's like a normal guy. And then in Die Hard 3, he's all like fucking jumping out of helicopters and shit. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, but I don't know. I love a good movie, and I'm down to go check out Sonora. That'd be tight. I want to go see some good movies. I don't know. I'm a movie buff. I love movies.
Yeah, have you been up to? Well, I guess it's called Sonora now, but right after COVID, they replaced all the seats at Elvis, so they're
More comfy.
They're more comfy, and they're kind of like the seats at
The Regal.
the more nice movie theaters.
I know the Regal ones have like the kickback seats.
Yeah, so they're like bootleg versions of that. Yeah.
Nice. Is it the Alamo?
Yeah, right here.
That one's tight. Those-
I've never been.
there.
Bro, they're tight. I watched Dracula there, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super comfortable. You could order beer. You could order, like, food and nachos and shit. It's all...
I've been
it's
to one
tight.
like
They
that
have,
in
a
like
table
Thornton,
between-
but I haven't been to this.
Yeah, that one was cool. The old Cinnabar up in
Yeah, the
Thornton.
Cinnabar.
That
That's,
one was
yeah.
cool.
I was forgetting that. I was blanking on the name.
They still have that up there, right?
No, they closed that one down. It's just they're looking for someone to lease it right now. right by the Home Depot and all that shit.
Would you ever open up a theater? If you had that option, would you like invest in a theater?
I wouldn't. I don't think I would in a theater.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I just don't.
I'd
know
go
the
for more of
business.
like a venue, like a concert venue or something.
A concert venue.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be all the DJ and the owner.
No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even set foot in the place. I'll just cash the checks.
Yeah, and
That'd be
for
tight.
me, I'd love to own like a dive bar. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Do it,
Yeah,
bro.
that
I
would
want to
be
help
cool.
you.
We'd have like our own watering hole, because we need one now. We don't have.
Yeah, we don't got a
JDs. We don't have
JDs no
welcome
more.
in.
We'd
Yeah,
have a Dr. Solano's. That's what we would call it.
Dr. Solanos.
I would
We
want
call
it
it
to be
DSs,
called
so-
the House of the Rising Sun, like the song, because that
The
would,
Rising Sun.
yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be tight.
Yeah.
You should do it. Let's do it.
I would
Let's
just
make
call
that
it
happen.
bar.
We just gotta look for a space. There's a bar in Denver called Bar.
Yeah,
Bar.
Yeah,
Damn
the
it.
bar
It's a
bar.
shithole.
It's a
I love it.
fuckers bar,
Those
but
fuckers took my idea.
Those are my favorite type of bars.
That's downtown.
Shitholes. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, bro, like I just wanted to appreciate you and thank you, bro, for coming and being a part of our podcast. You mean a lot to our community, and just you being here in the podcast, bro, it's powerful. Like you're a powerful member in the society, bro, and like everything that you're doing for the school reform and shit that I don't even know about, bro. Like you're powerful, dog. You come from the same hood, and I appreciate you just being here. Like, yeah.
I appreciate it, Rage. When I got the invite, I was super excited to be here. The podcast that I've watched of this thing, it's been really informative, and so I want to thank you and Matt for making this happen, because it's a very powerful voice for our community, and it's a voice that needs to be heard, right? So I'm honored that I got to be able to sit here with you gentlemen today, talk about this. Looking forward to seeing this podcast and the ones that you all do in the future, because they're very powerful for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
And as I mentioned, Lakeside this Thursday, June 15th. Just when you pull up at the front door, say you're with North High School, wear your purple and gold or red if you want to. And then we'll fill up the park with us Northsiders. We'll get a little bit of a discount to go in. So even if you don't want to ride the rides, if you just want to stroll through the park and, have a icy or something, it'll be a fun time.
Go get
Cool.
what are those called? The funnel cakes.
Yeah, funnel cake.
Funnel
All the
cakes are
powder
always fire.
sugar on
Yeah.
there.
Bro, there's
Exactly.
like 2 games over there that I kill.
There you go.
The one where you knock the ball off the air.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
deadly, bro. I was getting all the kids prizes.
That's cool.
Dog, you gotta leave.
Yeah.
You gotta leave.
No, like kids were like trying it,
Yeah.
and they would come up to me like, "Here, I got $1. Get me one."
Oh,
I'd be like,
that's
"All right, bet." Boom, got it.
There you go, young man.
But yeah, once again, brother, I love you and I appreciate you for being on our podcast,
Yeah.
bro. I would love to have you on the show again, just to see where you're at later on in your journey of life, and just keep going, bro. That's all
Thank you,
can
Rage.
Keep doing. You're a big influence for our people out here, whether you realize that or not. You're probably, I'm not used to being called doctor. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're one of those humble cats who you don't care about the title. I'm sure you don't give a fuck about being called doctor.
No, I'm Isaac.
Yeah, you're just Isaac from the hood. You know what I mean? From
Globeville.
From Globeville to welcome in to JD's to getting a PhD. You know what I mean? From JD's to PhD, brother. That's the title of this podcast.
Yes.
Damn.
I love it.
Say it like you're a powerful member, brother. I love you, bro.
Yep.
Love you too. Thanks,
Thank you.
Leonard. Matt, it was a pleasure.
Yep.